Alright, Kiss Army, it's time to drop the needle, kiss my wax.
Hello everybody, welcome to the next episode of Kiss My Wax. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason Herndon, and with me as always is Mr. Tom Shannon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And this week we're going to continue our questions episode, our viewers' questions episode. We had to cut it short because we had a ton of questions and it was running into 2.5 hours. So anyway, we're going to finish up what questions we had left over from that. We're also going to cover Kiss Alive 3 and look at those few variations out there that exist and talk about a few other things and see where it takes us. So that's what this episode's all about. So as normal, we do show and tell. So
you got something big, don't you? I don't have.
Big?
Yeah, I thought you did.
I do have one big thing. It's not actually a piece of vinyl, but
but still, that probably ought to go last. Go last. I got a nice package, but you know, it's that's still a pretty exciting one that you got. All right, so of course, obviously, I've already opened this because I'm not crazy like that, but did a trade with our buddy from Kiss 45's, Hank Van Zant. When I went on the Kiss cruise back in November, wasn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they had the red color vinyl 45 of 12-inch 45s, Creatures of the Night, and I love it loud. And so as soon as I got it, I didn't have very good internet access, but as soon as I got it, I texted you and asked you to please post up to see if anybody's interested in trading one of the 45s from the year before's. And so Hank jumped right in there, and so I sent his over to him, and I got this from him the other day, along with a South African Animalize.
Nice.
And I did give him some 45s for that. So that was a nice trade to get. And I hope Hank wasn't worrying too much as it went on. You know, when that LP first hit the market, that was a $300 plus LP,
right.
and that's not what the one from last year was going. And I knew that they'd end up equalizing that anyway. But I was going to do the trade no matter what. But we did have, because of my work and stuff, we had trouble getting everything all together to get it finally done, but we finally got it done. So hopefully Hank's enjoying his record. I think he is. And I think that's all I've got. So we got.
Gone are the days where you have a whole pile of stuff that no one's
for
ever
a
seen.
little while. For a little while. You know, just so people know, I'm not leaving the hobby or anything. My wife has decided she doesn't want to work anymore, so we got to make an adjustment for that. But the other thing also is I've got a project coming up, and I need to put my money to that. So all right. So what have you been spending all your money on?
Don't tell my wife. So,
yeah.
Well, as far as vinyl goes, I have this horrible tennis elbow, I think. So, as far as vinyl goes,
playing tennis.
No, I think it's from playing computer. That's, I work all day on a computer.
Yeah.
So, I got some bootleg stuff in, some of this new bootleg stuff in. So, I wanted to show those. So I got this hydraulic rock, which is September or San Francisco 77, and it's just, man, it is so.
Oh, that's cool.
It's beautifully done. I mean, the bootleggers just, they really have it down. So there's a little insert. It's a foil insert that goes over the color photo that you put.
The audio still sound like shit though.
It's audio still. Well, I think San Francisco 77 is okay.
Yeah. But, hey! And in honor of your new bootleg podcast and stuff, look over my shoulder. Look what's up there.
I see.
Can you believe that?
Is that Sneak Attack? Tom has
I think so. It's one of them.
So these come on. I think they're marble. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to see it, but when you hold it up in the light, these are marbled.
Cool.
Maybe we can get some light in there. Can you see any marbleation? No.
No.
Oh, hold on.
You got to remember, you got that high quality internet connection.
Yeah, it's the best. It comes farmersonly.com or something. How about that?
Sort of maybe.
Sort of maybe. Anyway,
Why
it's marble.
don't you post a photo? Why don't you post a photo on?
So, but anyway, it also and this will make you very happy. What the hell did I do with them? Oh, here they are.
It'll make me happy.
No, yeah, you'll probably be pissed, and normally I would be too, but it sure does look cool. So they also did these little
Little miniatures of the posters.
little miniatures of the posters.
Oh, why would I have a problem with that?
It's the next part.
Oh, well, okay.
So that looks cool. And then they put this card in here that has replicas of the pics.
Boo. Are you serious?
Yeah, I swear.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Yeah.
What's up with the freaking logos?
I don't know. I'm not gonna pop them off. I don't think they have logos on them. So it would.
Well, as long as they don't have logos,
right.
That's fine. Dude, whoever made that, why you got to do crap like that?
Yeah,
I don't get that.
I knew you'd be upset.
Because I'm sure they did. I'm sure they didn't make any for themselves with the logos, did they?
No, of course not.
No.
They, it's in the package in this red envelope. So
yeah, it's a nice package, but
it's a nice package. But I knew you'd be like, "What the hell?" So,
I know good well. I know somebody that made that too. That's a hell of it.
All right. So the next bootleg I got is this one.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, they're really high quality. Doing it up these days. So
I hope these guys are giving you a steep discount so you can show that on that bootleg page.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm getting these from good friends that are getting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's see. So this comes with. There's several different colors of these. I chose the pink one.
Cool.
So they look pretty cool, and each side of the label has a different member.
Yeah.
And but it also comes with this poster.
And I'm gonna tell you a paradox I just thought about too after you show it. That's
from the Ottawa Civic Center.
Cool. Yeah. Nobody will mistake that. That's a paper folded one.
As
so
long
that's cool.
as it, yeah.
You know what is a shame? Seriously, and I'm serious about this. It's a shame.
Let's hear it.
It's very skilled work. That's a great package of stuff. How do you get any professional benefit out of something like that? I mean, because are you gonna, if you did that, are you gonna walk into Universal and go, I'd like a job as a graphic designer?
Here's what I've done.
I bootlegged all this. And they'll never be able to track you down, to offer you a job.
That's right.
That would be frustrating.
I agree totally.
They're clearly involved in the printing industry anyway, though.
Sure, that's right. So the next one I got is the Sydney. There's several different colors of this as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's got this cool.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice piece. And then show the vinyl of this. Get out of there. So, you can see the marbled on this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like that label too. Ice cream.
Right. And the label looks great. And then of course this is Sydney, Australia, so it's pro audio, so it's it's gonna sound great. But they also did a replica, or not a replica, but like a little tour book kind of thing.
And instead of the one that's in the gold box that I've got that didn't fit in the gold box, corners are all rolled up.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty well done.
Yeah, that is. That's cool. That's
and then
cool.
I got one more. And this one, oh Lord, stuff's falling everywhere. I can't hold it up because my elbow is screwed up. I need a quarter zone shot in my elbow. I get one about every 6 months, so.
Yikes.
Yeah, it sucks. Oh, come on. But that sounds good. Audio there. All right. So then I got Satan's Blood. The sleeve has a little the numbered certificate thing on it, and that's this. This is from Memphis,
Cool.
Mid-South Coliseum, December 2nd, 1976. And there's the back.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then here's the gatefold. And then this one has got really cool looking vinyl, and the sleeves are super cool. I'll keep buying bootlegs if they look like this.
Yeah, no, they look great.
Can't not do it. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. They've really, 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 really upped their game, man. It's so hard to pass up. You know, I got a friend that, you know, once he hears about them, he'll send me, you know, information saying this is what's coming. If you're interested, let me know.
Yeah.
And you know, when they put out 3 or 4 of these at a time, it can get expensive. You know.
Oh yeah.
For someone who's poor like me, and man, it is so hard to turn it down. So hard to turn it down. So, all right. So the big thing that I got, it's not a piece of vinyl, but
Vinyl related.
It's vinyl related, and this is the third one that I've purchased, and the first authentic one that I've purchased. I think I do have another one that I have over here is so close. You know, it's hard to know for sure, but for certain, I finally got an authentic Tiger record player.
Nice.
And we know
that's a good looking one too.
We know it because it has the proper proportion of the logo here, for the Tiger logo here, and for the Tiger logo that's down there as well. And it has the center ring piece, which are missing many times. The only thing that was wrong with it is the clasp is broken off. But this is what we've discovered in our discussions over at Kiss My Kollectibles, is that the model number should be 7-411, and that's what the model number is on this.
Cool.
It is all the ones that we've seen come directly out of boxes, like that Peter Arquette has sold, that we know are 100% authentic, all look just like this. Obviously,
well, congratulations.
Yeah, it costs, you know. When we talk about counterfeiters and getting fooled, I've gotten fooled on 2 of those to the tune of about $800, and that's not fun, you know.
No,
and,
not at all.
I know that a couple people. I've got another one over here that is real close, but the proportion of the printing on the Tiger piece, you know, stickers on there or whatever they are, the fonts are too big. And it doesn't look like any of the known authentic ones, and we've just about chalked those up to definitely counterfeit. It's hard to say, but there's so many of them out there. There's a chance that it could just been a variation, manufactured somewhere else, you know, a variation.
Yeah.
Because I know that a guy in Australia has 2 or 3 of them, and they're all exactly the same as this one that I have over here. So either someone was pumping out those counterfeits, if they're counterfeit, a bunch of them, or we've got a true variation of it. But like I said, I've never seen, and no one's ever produced one from a box that looked like this other one that I have over here. So it's
got to be pretty tough to produce one from a box today, anyway.
Sure. But who the heck knows, man? I just don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to hang on to it just in case. It's a totally different model number. It's the same model number as the guy that has the 2 or 3 in Australia. I mean, it could be that they use the same mock-up to do the counterfeits, or it could be that they were just produced in a different facility and had different printing measures, just like we find with vinyl and stuff. But anyway, so I have a truly authentic one. Who knows? And that's all I got.
That's all? Well, that was a lot, man. That was a lot. That was a lot.
And it's not vinyl. It's not vinyl, but I also got this little CD that came over with some of the bootleg vinyl that I bought that my buddy threw in for me. So
cool.
Severe Cuts. It's a bunch of acoustic stuff. But anyway, it's pretty well done too. I don't buy many CDs anymore, but so. All right, what are we talking about next? Don't adjust your sets. Don't adjust your sets. We interrupt this current episode of Kiss My Wax to bring you a special message from Tom Shannon about some cool stuff. So
Not just me, from you also. This isn't just about me.
Well, I mean, you're going to explain the bulk of it, so.
Yeah. So
let's just get
yeah. All right, so we're just I'm about to bust on this. Been holding this in for about a year, and everything's finally coming to fruition as far as getting a launch with it. I think a lot of people have heard me allude to the Rockologists. That's part of the title of the worldwide Kiss LP book that I'm finishing up. Is the Rockologists present Kiss My Wax. And blah blah blah.
And blah blah.
So yeah. So what's a rockologist? Well, the rockologist is a lot of stuff, but mostly the rockologist is a concept that I came up with a while ago to try to address some issues in the collector's world that I see, and it'll be a small step towards taking care of those issues, but I'm firmly convinced it's going to take care of those issues. We'll explain those in a little bit. And another reason for the Rockologists and what they're about is, the excitement of Kiss vinyl collecting. That's not all the Rockologists are going to be doing, but our first project is not my book. It's not going to be out first. Very happy to announce that the Rockologists, My Wax, are going to have our own exclusive vinyl release of Bruce Kulick's BK3. We're really super excited. I know everybody on the page knows, and hopefully most people that watch this podcast know. Bruce Kulick is a good friend of ours on the page, a big supporter of everything, and comes in and mixes it up with everybody. And Bruce is a big vinyl collector. He loves vinyl too.
Yep.
And so I was talking to him one day and mentioned how we were looking for a project here, and that's what we're going to do. So the pre-sale on this LP is going to happen. It's going to start on January 27th. There will be an announcement on the Kiss My Wax page on Facebook that'll have all the details of where you go to purchase it and all that. We're going to be selling it strictly on the page. That's the only place we're going to do this. I'm going to tell everybody here that we are having this pre-sale. I have got to sell 37 copies of this before we can go to the press with it. That's so we've eliminated the risk on it. It's a very limited release. There's only going to be 60 copies. Okay. And so if for some reason it doesn't reach 37, I'm positive it will. But if it doesn't, then everybody's money will be refunded. But so what's going to be special about this release? A bunch of stuff. Number one, Bruce is going to sign the cover of every copy. All right. Every copy is going to have a hologram serial number on the back, and you're going to receive with that a matching certificate with a matching hologram number on it, and the certificate is going to be signed by Bruce. So Bruce is the person that's authenticating this release, this signature. We're going to have a special Obi on it. I love the Obies.
Yes, sir.
We are probably showing a picture of it right now.
Yes, as long as you send it to me, we'll send it.
Yeah, as long as I send it to you. And I think a lot of people will catch the references on this Obi real quick. It's pretty cool. Bruce worked hand in hand with me on this thing, and we really like it. We're also going to have inserted in every copy an 11 by 22 poster, unique to this release. This never been a poster of this before. Okay, so that's going to be included in it as well. There are going to be 10% of these and they're going to be random. I won't know who they are. Do not ask me to make sure that you get one, because I'm not going to know. I'm going to insert them. I'm going to mix them all up, and then I'm going to ship them out. So I won't know where they're at. But 10% of them are going to have the poster is going to be signed. and that poster is also going to have a hologram on it, and the matching certificate for it will be inside the LP. Okay, and the reason why it's inside the LP and the other one isn't is because these are all going to be sealed after all this takes place. Okay, so we're really super excited about this. One of the things that this is going to do, and Jason, this may shock you, I hate forgers, I hate counterfeiters.
No.
Yes, I cannot stand them. I don't care what anybody else says. There are some talented forgers running around out there right now.
Sure are.
And you know what? It's disgusting because it really would be nice if people had an avenue for being able to get legitimately signed stuff. And that's what the Rockologist authentication is all about. Okay, this is obviously the very first project that I'm doing. I'm going to expand it out. It's not just records. I've got a friend that has got a book that's out that I'm going to try to talk him into getting some signatures as well, and doing some authentication. So there's that. This is not just KISS related, although obviously we're heavily into KISS. So in my mind, in my eye, 10 years from now, I see the forged market on eBay decimated by this, because why would you purchase an autograph that has no authentication, real authentication? I'm not talking about you brought it to me and I go, oh yeah, that looks real, let me authenticate it. I'm talking about authenticated by the artist.
Right.
Why would anybody ever, if they have access to that, why would they ever purchase a potential forgery ever? If nothing else, it'll damage the prices of those. So that'll be a win for everybody. Let me say this about this LP. All right, and this is how strongly I feel about this stuff. Obviously, we like collectibles, don't we? We like collectible stuff. And what's the first thing that it means if an item says it's collectible? Well, that means it's not. So, we're not going down that road. But I feel so strongly that this record is going to be highly prized and collectible in the future, that everybody that buys one is going to get a guarantee from me. You're going to get another certificate from me. And in 36 months, if you still have it sealed, if you still got all your certificates that come with it, if you're the original buyer, if you don't want it anymore, I'll buy it back from you for what you paid for it. Okay? And I'm willing to do that because I know the thing's going to be worth more than $65 in 3 years.
Yep.
And if it isn't, I'll be glad to buy it back. So I'm just telling you, I could sit here and go, oh, but I'm sure it's going to be worth money, you should buy for that. And you know what? You would rightly go, well, Tom, you're just you're a little over exuberant about that, but you will get a guarantee on it. Okay, so there's that. And I think you're going to find that as I go down the road with my future endeavors with that, that's what we're going to do. The cool thing on this, I don't know how many of you noticed on the OB, it might have been too small for you to notice, but Bruce has very generously allowed me to put my Rockologist logo on that OB, and we have the address for Kiss My Wax.
That's
so,
right.
I think we'll come back with some more of these. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say this as well. If you guys really want to have collectible Kiss short pressings, you need to support this, because I'm going to tell you right now, if there is ever going to be color vinyl solos in a box, if there's ever going to be a thing of the originals, we're going to do it. Because part of what I'm doing with this is this is like writing a book. Okay, if somebody calls up a publisher and goes, hey, I'd like to write a book about this and that, and how much will you pay me? And the publisher is going to say, well, send me the book. Well, I haven't written it yet. Okay, well, contact me when you write it. So basically what we are going to show Universal that we know how to do this.
That's right.
We know how to create, we know how to do it. And I'll just leave it at that. All right. So how about you support this? Everybody get a cool collectible. You're supporting Bruce Cooley. You're supporting Kiss My Wax because part of the proceeds are going to go to help fund some of the stuff that we've done around here, and part of it's going to go into future projects. So super excited about it. You got any questions, Jason? While I'm looking over my notes here.
You want to mention the cost, Tom? You said it once.
Oh yeah, I
passing.
probably do. Yeah.
Let's talk about the cost.
Yeah. It's $65 plus shipping.
Okay.
We'll have the exact details on the shipping ready when everybody's ready to pre-order. We're not adding anything to the shipping. This may move a little bit, but there'll be a couple of options for U.S. shipping with media and priority. Trying the best I can overseas, but people just got to realize it's expensive to ship a record overseas.
Yep.
And maybe somebody would want to pool a bunch of guys together, because I'm sure we can ship it in a bunch a whole lot cheaper than doing it individually, especially when we get into the point of if they're going to have it registered. But it is priced like a premium product.
It is a premium product.
It is. You get. I mean, I'm telling you, this poster's cool. This Obi's cool. Bruce has even said he's going to slip me a few picks to drop in a random one here or there. So, it'll be something to have.
You could potentially end up with 4 signatures, correct? One on the
Yes.
cover.
Yes.
One on the certificate,
Yep.
one on the poster, one on the certificate for the poster. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But you're going to have to open your record to find that.
That's right. You got to open it, and then.
So yes, Tom's been paying attention to what Kiss has been doing for years. I've just been sitting there. I've been watching this stuff. So.
That's right.
Let's see. All right. So we talked about the buyback. Let's see. Man, that's kind of it. I mean, super excited about it, and been working on this for a while. I do want to mention that this cool Rockologist logo you see up here was created by one of our Kiss My Wax page members, Joe Lalich. He's a graphic artist from Michigan, and he's a real talented guy, and he did a hell of a job with that. So, again, Kiss fans all around.
Should we be considering throwing some of these into the purchases?
I don't know. That's an added expense, man. You know what? If somebody wants to buy one, maybe we could cut a deal. I don't know. We'll see. We'll discuss that. Now, see, you don't put that out there, so now we're going to have to sit there and think about it. Might as well, especially anybody in out of the country. I mean, you might as well save the shipping on the slip mat by getting it in with the record.
Yeah, I agree.
It's fairly light. All right.
What else? Light, so.
Yeah. What else are you going to sit here and promise now?
I wasn't promising anything. I just asked.
Yeah.
We've got. We've long made our money back on these, and it's supported. A lot of our fees over this, and the sales have slowed down for them, and that's fine. We've sold 60 or 70 of these things. That's quite a bit of sales, but I got to do something with them. So.
Well, maybe we have a fire sale on those too. We'll discuss that off the air. Yeah. But hopefully we'll have that for the announcement on the pre-sale. We'll go ahead and make some deals on those.
All right.
Other than that, that's it. That's it for me, man.
That's it. That's all we got.
All right. So back to the episode.
We're back to the episode. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Well, yeah, it's a good question. All right, so I guess we need to figure out how we're going to structure this, because don't want people to get stuck having to sit through something maybe they don't want to. You want to do a live 3 first? It won't take too long. And then maybe we can go to the questions, and then maybe we can go to talk about what ended up being a doctored up Alive 2 that showed up over on the page last week.
Let's do it like that.
That way people don't have to listen to a rant that they don't want to listen to.
That's right. So we'll do that at the end. Let's do Alive 3 now.
All right. Alive 3. Tell us, what about Alive 3?
Come out in 1993. It's a pretty decent show, I guess. Ed Kramer.
Yeah.
And a little overproduced and a little too many vocals redone in the studio, but whatever. So, but
it's
come
a
out-
Kiss
come out-
live album.
come out for H&H Marketing originally released the vinyl when there was no vinyl going on at all in the United States, basically.
Hmm.
Come out red, white, and blue colored vinyl and black.
And black, yeah.
And
Yep.
and then
Which
we've got the. But anyway, we'll just get into it.
Yeah. Have you? What all do you have?
Okay, all I have, when I originally sold off my collection, I've talked about it a few times, my original collection to Peter Arquette back in 1999, basically all I kept was a complete set of the vinyl, and then some other personal items like autographed things and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I sold everything else. So when I was going through and picking out the pieces to sell from my vinyl, I stupidly, because I had a matched set as far as the numbers go on a Live 3.
All four?
I did not have black.
Okay.
I only had the colors, and I had a matched set, numbered set. So I wanted to keep one that was sealed, and then I had the white one that I'd had the vinyl autographed by Eric and Bruce, so I didn't get rid of that. But I got rid of my red, so I need a red now. So I haven't went back and bought it. But that's all I have other than the 2014. So let's just go ahead and show them.
Okay. So I started with the blue one. I mean, and because at the time, I mean, I just, I wasn't going to be buying all those colors and stuff. I just wasn't into it. Not to me, that was the most striking color of the bunch.
It's nice.
And then this one has turned into a little bit of a project for me as far as getting signed.
Yeah.
I had to actually look just now to make sure I didn't have Gene signed in the black somewhere, and I don't. I don't. So that is one more to slip to Gene if I ever get that chance. And then the next one that I got was the red vinyl. I guess I'll pull this out. I'm sure people want to see it. And this is in that awkward time when the jackets started getting bigger.
Yep.
They don't fit in my sleeves anymore once they get to there. Anyway, so there's the clear red, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
As far as I can tell, these have all got the same labels on them. No label variations on them.
Right.
And then my last one that I got, and I may somewhere in these, I may still have my stickers that came on the front of these.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently got this white one, and the original owner of it actually stuck the sticker right on it, which I don't know. Beautiful.
Here's my white one.
I can tell you that there are two label variations as far as the stickers on them, two sticker variations.
Well, let me pull my
it looks like all the red, white, and blue ones are just this sticker right here. There are black ones that have got this same sticker on it.
Right.
And then there's another variation. I don't have it sitting here in front of me, but it is going to be in the book. I haven't really looked to see what's happened to the values of the black vinyl, the original black vinyl since the reissues came out.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to say one way or the other. I have a feeling what I think happened to them. I mean, because I don't know why people would feel as compelled to want to have it once it's reissued in that same color. But anyway, so they came out again in 2014, and then of course there's the German copy from 2014 with the download card. There's a couple of goofy mistakes, and I probably won't be able to see them here without having a magnifying glass. But there was a couple of goofy mistakes. I probably can. No, I'm not either because it's tiny writing. All right, so they've got on here that I was made for loving you was off Dressed to Kill.
Right.
Which wasn't the case. There's another one in here too. Anyway, bottom line, had at least two conversations about that, and they were supposed to correct that on those 2014s, and I guess that memo never got sent on through. I can tell you it definitely was supposed to have been corrected.
Yep.
But it didn't. So anyway, there that is. As far as different variations around the world, as far as what I know of. So we've got the 5 different ones from the U.S. There's a Brazil copy. The Brazil is the single LP of it instead of the double. I think it's single, isn't it? Somebody will correct.
I think it's
Somebody
single,
correct me. There's a pressing from Colombia. I don't have that. Obviously the Germany from 2014, and the European Union copy from 2014. There's also color vinyl from the United Kingdom, but it's that counterfeit, and it's that crap counterfeit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they couldn't even be bothered to make jackets. They just made stickers for the covers.
They did one for Carnival Souls as well, right?
And U2 and a bunch of other bands.
They call it an EMI promo. Is that what they call it?
They call it some kind of crap
I believe
like
it's
that.
an EMI promo or something like
Yeah.
that. So.
Oh, speaking of that, hold on. I got one more. Had to pull this out of my counterfeit section.
Oh, yeah.
The Live 3, yeah. From Mexico. From Mexico. Yeah. But it wasn't from Mexico. Yeah, and it says phonogram, polygram, and all that good stuff. And nobody would lie about that, so it must be true. So, as far as I'm aware, that's it for the vinyl. Now, I've got a single. I don't think this is off there. And I know the timing didn't work for it. You know, it's this white label of Rock and Roll All Night. It says it's got a rubber stamped on it. It's the music, stupid. You know about this, right?
No, I'm not real familiar with that.
This is a perfect example of how greater access to supply drives down price. Okay, I busted my butt to get this single when it came out. I spent over $50 for this back in '93. And you lucky to get $15 for it now.
Wow.
You know, pretty common. But again, and I've got it written on here, it's from 1993. I really would have to go back and look through my single stuff again, but I know forever we couldn't decide what this thing was for. Now, maybe somebody out there knows more is going to say, yeah, oh, yeah, that is for that. That's that same recording. But anyway, you know, I don't know of anything to do with that. All right. You know what? I didn't have a chance to go through my magazines, but actually when I pulled up, this is all I've got from 1993. I got 4 magazines.
I'll be.
So I'm going to guess this Circus says something in it. Let me see. Maybe it's going to have them on the back cover or something. I mean, because again, we're talking. Well, you know, the record company wouldn't even. Here we go. Kiss launches a Live 3 on the inside back cover. But you know, the record company wasn't even going to put those out on vinyl. I mean, the Live 3 did okay. They're and I don't have a copy of it here. I can't remember if I saw this. I'm wanting to say I saw it over at Kiss My Kollectibles. Somebody wrote in about the Alive trilogy. Okay, right. The CD, the Alive trilogy, and said that it was sent to radio stations as a promo for Alive 3. No. You know, I wasn't coherent enough or in the know enough to know what's going on in '77 when releases came out, but I was paying strict attention when Alive 3 came out. That Alive trilogy was strictly a slipcase that was mailed to CD retailers. Okay, not records, not radio stations, not anybody. Maybe they got them, but I'm just telling you, they went straight to the CD stores.
Right.
And the whole purpose of them was because nobody was buying Alive and Alive 2 and barely buying Alive 3. And so the whole point was to make them in a collectible promo and, you know, hopefully sell off the stock. So whenever you see one that's been sealed, the CD store sealed it. I mean, that's just what happens, you know.
Right.
So that's just the way that is.
I could have bought one of those many years ago for $20 at Phonolux in Nashville, and I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
And now
with the CDs.
with the CDs.
Wow, that's a good price. That's a
Yeah.
good price. I never
Yeah.
did buy one because if I could buy one, for just the slipcase and get it fairly inexpensive, I'd do that.
Yeah. Now
But
you
other than
can't.
that, they're just basic ones.
Right.
I'm gonna pull this one out. This was again, we're talking about at the bottom of Kiss's career at this point. So this is a book called Collectible Toys and Values, and it's got a picture of Gene here. So on page 18,
Oh, that's cool looking.
we've got the Kissable Collectibles. Okay, I was really into toys at this point more so than Kiss. This used to tell. I'm not going to get into all that, but anyway. So what do we have here? What do we have here? The Lost Toys.
Woo!
The Lost Toys. And
Apparently they're not lost anymore, and they're being sold on eBay.
yeah, well, and you'll notice that the ones that they're showing are not any of that garbage that they're selling on eBay.
Yeah.
These things have never shown up. This actually was written by I don't know this guy, Herv Van Vliet, but the other guy is Gary Danko. Well, it says apparently they were proprietors together in Rainbow Rockatorium.
Right.
So these are people who knew what they were talking about. They've got a list of the lost toys. I'm not even going to get into them, but and then they got prices for the Kiss toys. They've got, and I think this was too low at the time. The Amigo boxes near mint in the box, 125 to 150 each. I don't think you could get them for that. Hey, they were more than that.
Yeah.
Model van, 60 to 75. Garbage can, 140 to 175. Makeup kit, 75. Backpack, 100. Record player, $200 to $250. In the box near mint, 550 to 650. Yeah, you got ripped off, man.
I got ripped, buddy.
Yeah. Now here's one that's come down though. Halloween. Oh no, my bad. Halloween costume set of 4. I thought it was each 250 to 300.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was just an interesting time to me because nobody gave a damn about Kiss at that point.
Before you move on to your next magazine.
Yeah, that's it. I ain't got no more.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, this is not of that particular time period, not 93. It's 1990. But your particular magazine, which I'd never seen before, reminded me of this Model and Toy Collector magazine.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Okay.
Is that a magazine or a book? That's a book.
Oh yeah, I guess it's a book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Model and Toy Collector, but it's episode. It's volume 19, 395.
Oh,
They come out all the time. It's all in black and white. The reason why I wanted to show it is anyone who's been on my personal YouTube page and then have watched these episodes know that I have a very good friend. His name's Danny Dabbs, who was a little bit older than me, but kind of mentored me in collecting Kiss when I was coming up. One of my dearest, oldest friends. I've been friends with him since I was 11 years old. If you've ever been to my personal Facebook page or personal YouTube page, I've got a video when he was selling off all of his stuff. Before he sold it, I wanted to video it all because it was an amazing collection. And I've got a big, long, thing up on YouTube about it. But anyway, he's the featured collector in this magazine.
Oh, really? Cool.
That's Danny.
Well, it looks just like him now.
Yeah, totally.
What does it? And I don't know Danny that well. Just seen pictures of him, but I have never seen an actual adult being able to wear that jacket.
I know he got it on. I don't think he can wear it now. He's not fat or anything now, but he's
But I don't know how an adult period ever wore that.
Well, he got it on, and he wrote this article. And
I know he did not have those erasers up there. I know he did not have those.
No,
I don't think those have ever shown up.
No, and it was just kind of like this magazine. The reason why you reminded me of it is because it has a whole thing on the lost toys in here.
Okay.
So, but anyway, he wrote this article and he was writing about different things. And but I've been in that house. In fact, I'm going to his house today after we record to play some Kiss pinball. In fact, and that's his his first machine. I think he sold this off to Gary Kahn, or maybe bought it from Gary Kahn. I don't remember, but he's got a new.
No, he wouldn't have bought it. Did finish that, and then let me tell you the Gary Kahn thing, because I actually mentioned this in a post the other day. Go ahead.
I had gotten no, he didn't buy. He bought it in Chattanooga. sold it to Gary Kahn, I believe.
Okay.
I believe that's the story.
I can tell you that pinball machine no longer exists if that's the case.
Are you serious? What happened to it?
When I went down, we've been talking on the Kiss My Wax page a little bit about the Let Me Go Rock and Roll single, and that's who I bought it from, was Gary.
That's right.
And so Gary had sold off pretty much everything that he had at that point. All he had left was a single. So we were down there talking that day when I was taking pictures, and fortunately he did talk. I was able to talk him into selling that to me. Anyway, his pinball machine. Two guys came down from, I'm wanting to say it was Pennsylvania or New Jersey somewhere, and they rented a van or had a van. I think they rented the van and came down, just drove straight down to get it, bought the machine, loaded it up, got in the van, and took off. And Gary told them before they took off, said, man, you guys, that's a long drive, man, because, Gary was in Nashville.
Right.
And he said he gets a call the next day, and they're needing to get a value for that machine because they fell asleep and rolled the van and destroyed the pinball machine. They were both okay, but yeah. And so they were going to turn it into the insurance.
So that's likely.
If that was Gary's machine, it is R.I.P.
I am 99. In fact, while we're sitting here.
Yeah, text him and see. He probably doesn't even know that. He probably doesn't even know that.
I know.
Wow.
Let's see.
All right. So while you're texting, so here's some riveting memorabilia around that time. No. That's Kiss My Ass.
That's Kiss My Ass. You can't show that. You showed it last time. So.
Shh. Cut that out. We didn't show. All right. That was just sitting around. I thought, I need to grab that. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. I just asked him if he sold his original pinball machine at Gary Kahn. I'm 99% sure.
Okay, speaking of that single, because we had something else come to light, all right? If you remember on the Hotter Than Hell episode, I told you that I was aware of a third copy of that single. Did I show the photocopy?
I don't think you showed it, but you talked about it.
Okay, there it is. Okay, so nobody got to see that. But anyway, that's the photocopy. And when I bought that single from Gary, he gave me this photocopy. And I said, well, where did you get it? Because it is not my single. It's not my single.
Okay.
I can tell the layout. It's not a variation of the label. It's just a variation of where the text is in relation to the center hole. Okay. Just we don't count that as a variation.
Got it.
But it ain't mine. It ain't mine. I know that. And so all this time I'm sitting there thinking, remembering that the see, what we always talk about too. People know I had this. I know this.
That's right.
I have misremembered all this time that other copy that I had seen and held was autographed on the B side. Okay, in paint pen. It's not. Okay, so I assumed this was not that one, and so I got in touch with the guy that has the other one. I sent him this picture right here. This picture. See right there. I sent him that picture, and he confirmed that is his single. That is his single. So only two again.
Only two.
There have to be more. But I just want to clear that up.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna real quick on the rest of this magazine, just so I don't ever have to show it again. But anyway, I'm waiting for Danny to respond to see if that was Gary Kahn's pinball machine. But it also had, it goes on and has other pictures of stuff.
Yeah.
And Danny's article there that he wrote. There's Gene, Mega Collector Gene Hunter. And just a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, then there was this expose on the Lost Toys.
Yeah, and you notice you never see those replicated.
No.
Those aren't what they fake. They just fake it whatever because it's much easier. It's much easier.
Right. So.
Counterfeiters. Anyway, all right. So, yeah, seriously, I think we ought to do the questions first, and then because I think it looks like we've got enough time, we can cover everything.
Okay.
I'm just so everybody knows, I'm kind of on a tight deadline, but got plenty of time. So, so people don't have to listen through a bunch of garbage they probably don't want to listen to.
Right.
We will discuss the the Alive 2 that Marco was able to expose as being a fake a week or so ago on the page. But we'll do that after we answer questions from the.
Oh, okay. So to finish up the questions, so I sent you my list of questions last night. That was just the main questions. I found
Yes.
the original post here, so I have any kind of follow-ups that were in between. So maybe we can try to address those. So are you ready to go on them?
Yeah, let's go. I didn't look at any of them, but let's go.
One other thing was you didn't look at them even after I sent them to you.
Dude, I ran tight on time.
All right. So real quick, in that magazine magazine Model and Toy, I just pulled out it. Here's an old Polaroid of some of my old collection. This would have probably been when I was around 14 or 15.
How the hell did you have all that when you were 14 or 15?
Told you I had a good friend, Danny, and he was older than me. And
good Lord.
You know, so but I still have the shelf here. That's where I keep my 8-tracks on. But that's a Polaroid of some old stuff I had back then.
Yeah, I'm not bringing my Polaroids from back then. I don't think we need to see those.
No. Okay. Question. Right. First one where we left off is from Mr. Julian Gill. Has Odyssey, the book, out right now. Go pick it up. We showed it 1,000 times. I'm gonna show it 1,001. Here it is. Go buy it. Yep. So he asks, if I can get all this crap back up here. He asks, what is the most unusual, interesting item you ever found inside of an LP that probably shouldn't have been there? You got anything?
You know, as far as Kiss ones, nothing really super rare. I mean, it's always nice when you're going through a record in a store and sometimes I don't know how to feel about this, okay, honestly, because I'm one of these guys, like I'm a law and order kind of person, you know, like I like to abide by rules and stuff. You open it up and let's say there's like 2 different copies of Alive 2 and one of them's $10, and you open up another one and it's $8 and it's got a set of tattoos and a booklet in it. Uh-huh. I mean, that doesn't seem right, okay? But, you know, that's the one I'm buying. Now, what I won't do, and I bet people do this all the time, I ain't moving inserts into another open record. That's
do that crap all the time when I was a kid.
You know, it's just, but I have never really found something interesting in one of my records that I forgot about. I pulled out I can't remember if it was a Beatles or a John Lennon record that I had, and I pulled it out, and out dropped a color picture from the front of the newspaper the day after he was shot, where he was signing the autograph for that dude that shot him. Wow. Yeah, that was a little weird.
Who was it? Mark David Chapman? Is that one?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, that record came up for sale.
Yeah.
That record sold a few years ago. A couple 100,000, 300,000, something like that.
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
I have to interject.
Right.
Danny just texted me back and he said, in fact, that was the pinball machine that he sold to Gary Kahn, and he said it was either 1992 or 93 when he sold it to him. Yeah, because Gary always had it ever since I ever knew him. So, yeah, that makes sense. That no longer exists?
No longer exists.
Wow.
It is gone.
So, anyway. Okay. All right. So, go ahead.
All right. So, what's the biggest rookie mistake you say you didn't find anything?
No, I haven't found anything. I never have. But I think we should mention that the reason why Julian is asking that question is because many times, it seems now, we've seen people buy Kiss Alive and the original tour book.
I've heard it 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times. So,
and I don't really get it. You know, I mean, I have no explanation for that. I guess the owner had to put it in. There's no way they put that big thick book in there.
No, I imagine they just stored it in there.
Yeah.
And, but
yeah, I mean, like at some point in time, I think I showed my Paul Stanley solo album that was folded up. Yeah. So I guess it's going to happen.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
So
what's the biggest rookie mistake that you've made buying, selling, or trading that still leaves you waking up screaming in shame? Oh, I don't know about shame, but anyway. What'd you do, man?
Well, if I had to talk about my biggest, I don't know about rookie mistake, but my largest regret, and I have talked about it before, was selling my entire Kiss collection in 1999 to Peter
Yeah.
Arquette. Should have never done that, and
Yeah.
and it did. I was very, very, very distraught when I realized what I had done, and realized that nominal amount of money was going to be gone very quickly to pay off a car that in 5 years was going to be junk.
Yeah.
I mean, just total error on my part. I should have never done that. So, and now I'm paying for it by trying to replace it 25 years later, and it's 25 times the cost. So
I bet you can buy that car cheaper now.
I guarantee you're getting a '93 Ford Probe.
Oh my God.
So
all right. I'm sitting there trying to think as far as rookie mistakes and shame. I mean, I don't know. There's stuff that I don't know that I'd call them mistakes. Because like I'll buy anything that I feel comfortable paying for it. I may be wrong. Maybe I overpay or whatever. Maybe I way underpay. But like I won't sell something if I don't have an idea what it's worth. So nothing like that. I've told this tale before where I passed on the test pressing of the Elder.
Right.
In hindsight, I still would pass on it. I didn't have the $8 back then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was totally out of them. I'd love to get it again. In fact, I just missed on it again the other day. Julian sold his.
I know.
And 3 weeks ago, I'd have snapped it right up. I don't regret it, but at the same time, right. It's sometimes you just can't do. Something that I'm always wary of. I'll say that I get real uncomfortable when I'm trying to trade with friends because I just I don't want to offend somebody. I don't want somebody to come up on the short end, so there's that. But I don't know, as far as a mistake, I'm not. Everybody can make a mistake, but I don't think I've got anything I really regret.
I've passed on. I mean, we've talked about it when we talked on. I think we had a question that would be similar to this. That just missed out on a lot of things over the years that I probably should have bought or found a way to buy or something like that. But it would be too many examples to. I mean, that test pressing. I was the first person to see that post that Julian made. If I hadn't bought that record player, I would have said, absolutely, I want it right now. And but it was another $250 that I didn't have. So anyway.
Yeah.
Next question: do we want to address Alan's question right now?
Yeah, sure, man. We always need a Weisenheimer to come on board.
So Alan asks us, what do you think of counterfeited autograph stuff? Or is he talking about counterfeited stuff and autograph stuff? What do we think about that stuff, Tom?
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Obviously, we like autograph stuff that we get ourselves. We're just not fans of the sheer amount of crap that gets sold on eBay that's fake.
Yeah. I would be a huge fan if you knew for a fact it was real, but you just can't unless you got it yourself right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone will take care of that.
When I got my Originals 2 autographed by Paul, I took a picture of him autographing it.
Mm-hmm.
On purpose for that very reason. And I keep it inside the record.
Well, I got a picture of him signing some of my stuff, but his signature's only on one thing at that point.
Yeah.
What have I got?
That's true.
I mean, maybe he didn't sign it. Who knows?
Who knows? So, but counterfeited stuff, I think it's very, it's very clear. I mean, we've got some new members. We've gained a lot of new members lately because of, opening Kiss My Kollectibles and Kiss My Boots. So if anyone is unfamiliar with the editorial position of the page and how Tom and I and several other larger collectors feel about counterfeited merchandise, you can probably find plenty.
It's bad. It's corrosive for the hobby. It undermines people's money. I mean, some people don't like to hear that, but that's just the truth. Well, it just is what it is.
We
right.
not be fans. So.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Go to the next one.
What's your favorite unique release, such as the singles or Oh Rock the Kiss? So in other words, it's just basically in one country.
My favorite. Oh, that's hard to say. Do you know yours right off the bat?
Yeah, I grabbed mine, but I gotta pull it. So you not said anything all that time?
I did.
You're supposed to keep everybody entertained, man.
I'll start making.
So not my particular copy, but I do like this LeMayer the Kiss from Argentina. It's the greatest hits from '77. Mine's a piece of crap, but it's a cool record. Like the cover, like the track listing. So it's that's mine.
I would have to say my favorite unique release, even though it is very attainable now, would be the Originals 2.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just because
it's the ultimate package.
Yeah, that's man. I mean, I would love to have that LeMayer the Kiss. I would love to have that at the Best of Japan. Obviously, those would be more records that that are sought after because they're rarer. But as far as just like being a favorite, as far as packaging, man, the Originals 2 is tough to top. So.
Yep.
All right. Next up. Let's see. Shane asks us a segment on the promo posters for all the albums would be cool. Oh, is this a question? Did I?
No, I don't think it really is. He said it might be a whole episode instead of a question. I'd agree with it.
Yeah.
A segment on the promo posters for all the albums would be cool.
Yeah.
Did you read that whole thing already? I don't want to reread
it. The ones included in LPs versus posters mailed straight to the record.
Yeah, and Shane actually would be an awesome person to get on here to discuss that. He's in the posters
group all the time, right?
Yeah. Oh, he is the poster group.
He knows his posters.
Or he's one of the main guys anyway.
Shane, if you watch this, buddy, maybe we might want to do a whole episode on posters and have you on. So there you go. So you want to do the next one?
Yeah.
I'll let you pronounce Lassie.
This is from I'm not pronouncing his last name. It's Lassie. He knows who he is.
Yeah. Lassie. Sorry about the name, man. Sorry we mispronounced your name.
Yeah. Sorry about us.
Yeah,
Record Club Pressing. Yeah. What all's available? What were the different record clubs? Which album titles were released and when? How do you recognize those? Why there were record club releases and so on. Man, I wish I'd have read this before I sat down and did some research on. I can tell you, we're going to go in great detail in the book on them, but let's just speak about them in general. Yep. All right. So, in the United States, now there are some other record clubs. I know Germany's got one. It seems like there's at least one more over in Europe. I know Canada has the Columbia Record Club, but I don't want to get too much into detail on those. Again, those will be covered in the book, though. U.S. So the whole idea behind the record clubs was to they suckered you in by selling you 10 LPs or whatever for a penny, and you would get that big pile of them. And then by doing that, you obligated yourself to purchase overpriced, not quite near as quality productions, in the future. A lot of times they would, if you didn't get your card sent in on time, declining one, they're going to just send you a record that you never even asked for.
Right.
I stayed away from them. I never did get involved with them. I know a lot of people did.
I did.
And so how did that work out for you? I'm sure you were a kid, right?
I did it in the CD era, so in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
But it was the same deal. And how did it work out for me? I never went through with the purchases, and probably signed up with my parents' name, and they probably got bad credit marks.
Exactly. Your parents got the bad credit mark. Exactly. Right. That's what was going on.
Yeah.
and me and you have talked about this as far as, okay, so like where's the blue label Kiss stuff on the record clubs? And there may be a chance that like that third blue label with with Sunset Boulevard address listed on it, that some of those may have been in Columbia record clubs, but we can't say for sure because unfortunately they were horrible about marking their labels. RCA was another record club. They did a good job. If they produced a record, or not produced it, but actually
pressed,
manufactured it. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, they manufactured the jackets. They manufactured the vinyl. They licensed that. They paid Casablanca or whoever a fee to be able to do that.
Right.
And so they had markings on the labels. They had markings on the jackets. They've actually got different code numbers on them. Then they'll have a Casablanca code number, but they'll have the additional RCA one. So what was the incentive for this thing keeps flashing? I hope we're doing okay. I've seen my recording flash twice there.
Looks good on my side.
Huh?
Looks good on my side.
Okay, good. So what's Jason? What's the incentive for Casablanca to let RCA produce those? I'm getting ready to release Destroyer that I think is going to sell 1 million copies. Why would I let you press it?
You don't initially.
Exactly.
It's just done for once the album is past its prime.
Yep.
And they're making extra revenue. It's no different than syndicated television shows that are still on the air.
Correct. It's exactly
and
so if you think about that logically, that's why you're not going to see any blue labels on those things.
Right.
Because by the time Kiss started really selling records, at the point that they've exhausted essentially the market, you're into Filmworks mostly. Some Camels in 76, but they're almost all going to be Filmworks because by that time they're just mining the back catalog.
Right.
There are, like, again, I was not a record club member, so I can't tell you even what I think I remember about opening one. I do have record club editions of like Alive 2, both the Columbia Record Club and RCA, that have got tattoos and booklets and all that stuff in them. They're meant. I didn't put them in there. I guess they came in there. I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Right.
Different people say different stuff. My remembrance of it at the time is people look down on the quality of them.
Right.
It's not an area that I ever really tried to collect until I was basically finished with everything else, and then it's like, well, why not?
Right.
I can tell you, to me, they're maddening. Especially like like Destroyer on Columbia. So the RCA is straightforward. Well, it isn't straightforward because I've got a Destroyer over there that's an RCA pressing, and it's got a Love Gun label on it. Right. It's got Destroyer song listings, but it's got that. But it is an RCA label. And the jacket's RCA. There are Columbia record clubs. I've got one over there. One of them will have a sticker that says CRC on the back. Another one will be printed CRC on the back. I've got one that's got 2 CRC labels. I got one that's got no CRC labels. I got another one that's got a CRC and a plain label. They're just all over the place, and I don't really understand it. I don't know if they just kept going back and pressing over here every now and then. I don't know, but that's kind of the story on them. Let's see. Okay, BMG RCA was bought by BMG in, I'm wanting to say 87. I looked this up the other day for somebody. I've got it on my records, but so no RCA pressings after 87. That's also, even though we refer to this alive with no gatefold, and it's a BMG pressing, even though we refer to that as an 85. 85 pressings are anything from 85 till 92 or whatever. You know, so this would have been pressed in 87 at the earliest. And that now there's an example of a collectible record club pressing. It's the only way in the U.S. you can get a non-gatefold alive. So
Right.
there. There's some other unique ones on record clubs. The Rock and Roll Over with the teardrop under Paul's eye.
Oh yeah.
However it exists, it exists, and you know it is something that people collect.
Right. I think the
What else
first
we
album.
got?
There's also a first album with the Love Gun label. Is that right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And you know what? Probably others. I'm guessing
I'm
others
sure.
too, but I haven't seen them. but probably.
So you know, feel free to comment once we post this episode. Feel free to comment
Yeah.
what all you have as far as record club stuff.
Especially if you got something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, what's next? Segment left. Okay. You take that.
Oh, y'all the hard name. All right, I'm gonna butcher your name, buddy. I'm sorry. Evie Twok.
Okay.
EVYTWOK. Is there insight on the first Kiss Filmworks 1 label LP that has the live version of Nothing to Lose?
Oh boy.
Okay. You know, first of all, it's not on the Filmworks 1. It's going to be on Filmworks 2 labels, which are also 83, 84s.
Right.
Or Filmworks 3, which are 85 pressings.
Right.
Okay. Not on the first one. I'll tell you what my theory has always been from my experience on something, and then you can say something that you've heard. Okay.
Okay.
'Cause I have heard what you've heard.
Yeah.
All right. So when I was working on the singles box, they called me one day and they asked me, "Hey, how does the live Rock and Roll Over 45 end?" I can't remember exactly how they asked me, but that's what they asked. And they were asking, they said, now I still to this day don't know if they were just yanking me to see if I would tell them the truth or if I would tell them something wrong, because I guess I could have done that on purpose, you know, made a variant. But anyway, they had 3 different tapes that they needed to decide between. Okay. And they didn't know which of the 3 it was. And so, you know, told them and they put the right one on. I've always said I'm positive that's what happened. Somebody grabbed the wrong freaking tape on that LP and just didn't care, you know, just didn't care, just grabbed it and they produced it. And guess what? Nobody said squat until Gene and them hear it in 96, you know,
right,
as they're going back and trying to redo the CD. So,
right.
What have you heard?
Well, the story is no different. I mean, the gentleman who did the catalog consulting for Universal on the CD remasters back then was in the Universal warehouse and basically told a similar story, saying that when they were pulling tapes for those records, they pulled the wrong tapes for Nothing to Lose. There was no nefarious trying to defraud. What was his name? Bruce something that played keyboards.
Yeah, the piano player.
Yeah, the piano player.
Yeah. Out of royalties.
Right, out of royalties.
Which you and I have talked about this, I think, here. I know we've talked about it privately. Multiple people would probably get fired if you put a studio musician on a royalty payment for an album.
Right.
I mean, you are obligating yourself forever and don't know what's going to happen with this. Oh, instead of paying the guy maybe $200 back then, you know, just pay him and be done with it.
It wasn't like the situation with Kissology when people were wondering why certain songs were left off of Kissology videos, which in many cases it had to do with songwriting royalties.
Yeah,
so,
that's a whole different deal.
Whole different story than a performance royalty, which you know. They probably just paid that guy a flat fee. It was the first album of a no-name band. Yeah. There's no way that the guy is going to go, I want points, royalty points on this record for my performance. He probably said, I'll take the $250 and be glad that I got $250, you know?
Yeah.
And so anyway, that was Robert Conti who told that story. Robert was on Three Sides a couple episodes ago and told a lot of great stories about his insight into the Universal Vault and how all that happened. 100%, 99.9% certain that someone just grabbed the wrong tape, stuck Nothing to Lose live on there, and it just didn't get corrected because no one cared about the catalog at that point in time. So
Yep.
There you go.
All right.
All right. What's next?
Well, let me take this next one because I don't think it's anyway. Okay, so Alex McGreevy.
Okay.
How was it that Unmasked in Europe was pressed in Republic of Ireland? How rare is the Irish press of Unmasked, and what's its estimated value? Same for any Irish press single from Unmasked. Okay, I'm a little confused about this. Okay, because at the time Unmasked came out, there wasn't European pressing. There were pressings for different countries. Yes, a lot of times, you know, they would press them in one country, but they would be specifically for another country. So I'm a little confused about that, and maybe he can or somebody else can get me straight on that. Now, having said that, there is an Irish pressing of Unmasked. Okay, it's rare. I mean, it's tough. The last one, the only one that I've ever seen go up for sale on eBay, I won't say it got like $125 or $150. And it was very unfortunate too. The person that won it, they received it and it was destroyed basically. So I don't think, now I could be wrong, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they pressed them in Ireland and shipped them into Europe under other countries, you know, titles or whatever. But maybe I'm wrong on that. As far as the singles from Unmasked, I can't remember. I think I can't remember if there's one or two Irish 45s. And, you know, in the overall scheme of Kiss, no, they're not that valuable. I mean, $50 maybe. Yeah. And some of that, this gets back to supply and demand. Both drive prices. There's obviously not a lot of these. There's not a lot of demand at this point. If I had an opportunity to buy any Irish Kiss vinyl, I would buy it.
Sure.
I would buy it because at some point, you know, it'll be the same, just like the South American stuff that nobody would give you any money for before, but now there's a lot of demand for it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on that.
All right. So Pat Lucero says, "Hello, Jason. I just watched the Kiss My Wax Creatures episode. You guys did not discuss the Japanese versions, which I find shocking, but that was a long time ago. So do you have them? If so, what pressings are they, 82 or other?" I assume Pat is referring to the mixes that are on the particular pressings themselves, wondering if...
oh, yeah, probably so, yeah.
Wondering if
I don't have them. I don't have it.
Yeah. I have it, but I just bought it, and I have not listened to it. I would assume that the original, I mean, well, obviously the original pressing of Creatures in Japan is going to be the original mix. I mean, because the remix didn't happen until '85. As far as the later editions on CD and all of that stuff, I'm told that whatever series it was that come out around 87 or 88 on CD, I forget what it's called. Someone's going to answer and correct me. I'm almost certain those are the original mixes. I don't own it. I can't tell you, but someone will. I have all of the SHM releases of the CDs. I've listened to them. They are the original mixes. As far as I know, there are no 85 mixes of Creatures of the Night on any of the Japanese releases. Someone correct me if I'm wrong as far as CDs go. But yeah, I mean, he's referring to the fact that, unfortunately, in the 2014 reissue campaign, the wrong master was used for the Creatures audio and actually uses the 85 remixed reissue audio, unfortunately. But as far as Japan goes, I think they all have the original mixes on. So. All right. Next.
Okay, from Scott Ray.
Yep.
What is the name of that super rare Kiss album that was only released in Japan? I think it was. which doesn't have a picture of the band on the cover, just a crazy pattern. And is it more or less priceless? That's the best of Kiss. It was a TV only sales of a record. Um, it's tough, but more or less priceless. No, I mean, what do I think? I know of two people that own it, at least two, probably more than that just haven't fessed up to it or whatever. The difficult thing about Japanese records is, I think it was Alan that pointed it out. No, he told me on the cruise. You know, if you notice, we don't have a lot of native Japanese that are members of our page.
Right.
And they're, a lot of people over there are fluent in English as well. So that's not the issue. They're just, it's part of their culture. They're modest that way. And that they don't brag. They don't, what some people would perceive as bragging. I think most of us perceive it as sharing. And so I think there's probably a lot more of these sitting over there than what we know about.
Right.
Priceless, no. There is a limit to what people are going to pay. I don't know. Like if I was in a situation, where, I wasn't trying to save money back for something and it came up, I got a limit on how far I would go.
Uh-huh.
That may not be equivalent to how far I'd go if I won the lottery next week. I mean, at a point that $1,000 means nothing to me, but how many people are there that literally the money means nothing to them? Okay, so they're out. If 5 copies come up, here's my prediction: if 5 copies came up in the next year, I bet you the first one would go for $1,800, somewhere in there. I bet the next one would go for about 12. The next one would go for about 7, 6, and probably level at about 5.
A similar phenomenon with the white double platinum.
Yeah. Well, no, it's gone the other way now.
Oh, it has, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
Because. So I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong about my thoughts on that. I think it just. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I know that I am only going to go so far with it. Like right now, if it came up today, I'm out. So somebody's not going to have to beat my bid anyway. You're not going to have to beat 2 other people that I know because they have it.
That's right.
If they didn't have it and I didn't have it and I was willing to go after it, we're gonna beat the hell out of it.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's just hard to say. It's hard to say. You're not gonna get it for $100. Well, hell, you may get it for $3.
You know,
show up at the right store over in Japan.
That's right.
Anyway,
I think Alan has that cornered. I think he's over there in that shop every day buying up everything.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding, Alan. Speaking of that white double platinum, someone just showed me he had 4 copies of it. Showed me a photo.
I believe that, and
isn't telling anybody.
I'm scratching my head. I'm scratching my head. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
It's.
He's got a mint. He's got a mint there.
I got a mint one or near mint.
No. I mean, he's got a mint.
Oh, of money.
Of that thing.
Well, that's everybody's got a different way of doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's my personal way. I would shed 3 of those really quick and buy me 3 more of something else I don't have.
That's exactly what I would do.
That's what I would do.
But
everybody has different ways.
That's right.
There's no correct way to collect.
He said he was holding out for. He wanted to trade for something just as rare. He wasn't worried about the money.
I don't know what in the world he thinks he's going to trade for.
I don't know either. So
there's not.
It's not vinyl. It's not just vinyl. He's a collector.
I was going to say I don't think I can go and tell you 3 records that are more valuable than that.
Yeah, no, he's just talking about rare Kiss merchandise. Period.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
we're folks is both there.
All right. James Croxton asks us, what makes a lot of South American pressing so vulnerable to wear mishandling or is it actually materials? I've never seen one in person. So I think we've discussed this several times
Yeah,
where
it's both.
It's
It's
both.
both.
Yeah, it's really just.
And I'll say mostly the materials, mostly poor materials, because they're just not going to hold up to any kind of wear at all.
Very thin cardboard.
Yep.
Very flimsy. They just wear out. It's tough to find them in mint condition, and when you do, they're pretty expensive.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Okay.
Right.
Jeremy Mackey asks, do either of you collect vinyl other than Kiss? If so, who and how big is the collection? Most people don't know this, but Jason's got the largest Teletubby collection in the world. He's big on it. Okay, I used to have about 900 just records from the 70s, from when I was a teenager and all that, and I finally came to the conclusion that the vast majority of them I was never going to listen to the album, and that they were not going to gather any additional value. So I gave them away to a friend of mine.
Huh. Interesting.
I just gave it to him, because he was interested in them, and I wanted him to go somewhere somebody get some benefit out of them.
Right.
Now, but I do collect stuff other than Kiss. I mean, I kept some stuff. Like, I really like promo copies of stuff that I grew up on. Like I've got a really nice selection of Kansas promo LPs now, and Journey, and just a bunch of them. And so that's what I look for. And anymore, because of a project I've got going on, I'm going to need some decorative purposes. I'm pretty much buying any kind of promotional marked record. If I find them cheap and in good condition in a record store.
Yeah.
I'm not buying squat right now, but when I am buying again, I'm buying kids records, in great condition, because they're cheap and I like them. I don't play them.
I got
There's
a couple.
There's just something, nostalgic about them.
Yeah.
So that's me. What about you?
Well, for me, I used to. I was kind of a music collector in general of all this stuff. Now, Tom's got 10 years on me. Sorry, Tom.
That's fine.
So Tom's got about 10 years on me. Right? How old are you? 52?
56.
56? Oh,
what the hell is that about, man?
I'm just kidding, man.
I'm only 56.
So
exactly.
Tom's got 15 years on me. So I grew up in a different era of music. So I'm an 80s metal fan. So, and of course I throw, when I say 80s metal, 80s hard rock, hair bands, but I also like, the metal side of things, the sleazy side of things. So we're talking about bands like Motley Crue, Kiss at the time, Poison, Skid Row, Cinderella, those kinds of bands, Warrant, all of that stuff. So I had outside of Kiss, I had a pretty extensive collection of other things, music, and I've mentioned it before. You don't see really behind me, but I've got about 6,000 CDs around me too. Now, obviously, Kiss doesn't have 6,000 CDs, but I have 6,000 CDs around me, and it's almost, I'd say, 90% 80s metal. A lot of rare stuff in here. But as far as vinyl goes, I've probably got. I used to have more. Got rid of some things, but I've probably got a crate of about 150 records back here. That's mostly 80s metal stuff. So I have the first two Cinderella, and then I also buy new stuff. I'm a big King's X fan, and they just reissued the whole catalog on double vinyl when they were originally single vinyl, and so all 180 gram stuff. So I rebought all of that stuff. Again, the first two Cinderella albums were just reissued by a label in Europe called Music on Vinyl, and they reissued Night Songs on purple vinyl and Long Cold Winter on white vinyl, so I bought all of that. But, I have the whole Warrant catalog that was available on vinyl up through Dog Eat Dog, which is very rare and hard to get your hands on. And, I've showed, when we did the Sebastian episode, I showed my first copy of the first Skid Row album that was signed by Sebastian. I've met a lot of those bands many times, a lot of members of those bands, and I used to like taking my vinyl of those guys and getting them signed instead of the CDs. So I would buy records a lot and do that. So that's mainly what I have is that kind of stuff. And I have a couple of children's records, a couple of Disney Halloween and Christmas records that I had when I was a kid and tore them to pieces, but found them again and rebought them just because I wanted to have them. But yeah, mostly 80s metal. That's what I collect. So
cool.
All right. What's next?
Next one. This is a great question. It's not a good question.
Okay.
Tim Purvis. I like this. I'd never heard of this before, but as soon as I read it, I said, yeah. Do you have a phantom record? Well, one that A, you are sure you had, but you can't find, or B, one that you absolutely cannot remember buying, but is somehow in your collection? Okay, I remember buying everything, so that's not, but yes, I have got a freaking Creatures double groove single somewhere, and I can't find it.
That's funny because until
and another one. Go ahead, and then I got another one too.
I was 100% certain, 100% certain that I owned Creatures and Killers from Japan. 100% certain. And for the life of me, couldn't find it. I told my wife, said, I know that I have these records. I remember the Obies. I know it. I know I've got them. And we looked everywhere. I have half of my Kiss collection stored in a storage locker out back because I don't have room for it. And I went out there and I pulled every single bin out. No vinyl. I would never put vinyl out there anyway, but I wanted to see, nowhere to be found. Either I thought I bought it or I've seen those records so many times online that I convinced myself that I own them. Yeah. But can't find those records, so I've had to rebuy them again. So very bizarre.
And here's another one, and I know both of these. Like maybe I could see somehow at some time I sold that Creatures, but I can't imagine it being worth doing it. But this other one, no, it makes no sense. I got in the early 90s, or not early, obviously mid. I got some stuff from somebody in Australia. Part of what I got, and I should have dug that out for the record. I've got an Alive 3 promo poster that I got from them, and I also got 2 different versions of I Was Made for Loving You as a 12-inch single, distinctly different ones, and one of them's missing. I don't have it now, and I know for a fact I had it. So anyway, there's that.
It's good stuff. So.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear other people answer that if they want to answer.
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
So, all right, Justin Lawrence.
This is too long for here. Let's skip this.
All right, Justin.
Well, let's read it, but I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to handle it in the book because it's too much to try to do here.
Justin Lawrence did ask. Yeah. I would be interested in hearing a little bit about the various Casablanca dust sleeves and where they fit into the various pressings, i.e., what would be the certain labels and what should not, blah, blah, blah. That's a very in-depth question. Could probably be an episode on its own.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question. Is. It's just it's too complicated just to say it here.
Yeah, I agree. So, Justin, maybe we'll talk about it on another episode, or maybe you can read it in Tom's book. So, Tim Purvis asks again, what is your fantasy RSD release?
Yeah, you start that, and I'm going to get some for the next question.
Okay, so that's the RSD. He means Record Store Day, if you're not familiar with Record Store Day. And I don't know, as far as a fantasy Record Store Day release, I would probably be really into the originals or the originals 2 getting reissued in the U.S. for a Record Store Day release. Tom has told a story several times in the past, maybe we can get in touch on it again, that there was actually going to be an official Record Store Day release that got canceled. You want to touch on that?
Yeah. Before the singles box came out, but obviously well into the process, they called one day and said, hey, can you get 4 more sleeves for the releases from Destroyer. And so, like, the tough one on that is Detroit Rock City and Beth. I mean, you find plenty of Beth Detroit Rock City, but not the other way around. So
Right.
there was just one more. So we were able to do that. And what they were going to do, they were going to release those 4 singles in a small box with these 4 different sleeves on it, because obviously they were coming out with the singles box. They didn't want to put it out with those. And so got everything all together. They're ready to go, and it was like a day or two before they were supposed to press them, and they killed it. That was it. That was it. End of story. And yet, so I think I sent this to you, Jason, didn't I? And I can't do it here, but so we can't get the Kiss record store day release, but there's a freaking Popeye movie soundtrack record store day release. What a joke!
And
what a joke!
And I told Tom that, you know, most of you should know that I work for a distributor that is an official record store day distributor,
Yeah.
and that Popeye release actually sold very well.
That's nuts. That's insane. Who the hell bought that? That's like I do scratch my head sometimes when I look at some of these re-releases. I was flipping through some albums the other day, and I'm going, are you kidding me? It's the Miko soundtrack.
Yeah.
From Star Wars or whatever. It's got the 2 robots dancing on the front. I'm like, that was garbage swill back in the day, and somebody gonna pay $25 for that now.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And I know they pressed more than one. I know they did.
They sure did.
Yeah,
they sure did.
All right.
So were you gonna talk more about your
okay? So my fantasy one would be, and you may have already hit on this when I was standing up. Color vinyl solo albums.
I didn't say that.
In a box.
That'd be great.
That's the one.
I said
That's the one.
I said the originals or the originals too, for Record Store Day. And how about the originals and originals too, with all the inserts in a box?
Yeah. And color vinyl. What the hell? And picture this while we're at it too. What the hell? Let's go for it. You know. All right. Okay. I hope I don't butcher this name here. Andrew Skimbetti.
Skimbattative.
Yeah. Do you own One for All? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do too.
And I got a hell of a deal on that.
So did
I gave $15 for that.
Yeah, look, my price sticker's still on there. All right.
No, mine doesn't have a price sticker.
Yeah, this is actually from this came out when I was managing record stores. I was running Cats Music in Hermitage, Tennessee, outside of Nashville, and I brought 5 of these into the store, and I bought all 5 of them. Yeah. And I sold them all within 6 months for about $75 a piece because no one could find it.
Yeah. So. And again, not a lot of demand for this.
Yeah.
But there ain't no supply.
That's right.
So that means price goes up.
That's right.
That is not a $15 record.
No, it's not.
I got it for that. All right. Good question, Andrew.
Andrew, that is a good question. I know he's been funny, but there's some questions that Andrew asked above. If you're on the actual page that I left out, and I know he was being funny, but I wanted to include that one because that's a particularly rare record.
Yeah.
And I definitely wanted to show it because we haven't ever shown it on the show before. So.
Well, you got another question from Andrew after this one. I'm going to read this one, and you can read the next one because it's to you. All right, Tim Purvis, where are all the U.S. test pressings? My question is, where the hell are all these other test pressings coming from? You know?
Right.
Well, gosh, I don't want to get too much into other countries and stuff, but, you know, there really shouldn't be that many test pressings. I mean, the whole point of a test pressing is to make sure the manufacturing process was correct.
Right.
Which, do they still do test pressing?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we have a listening room at the pressing plant, and they do.
I remember telling the story. I remember telling the story because it makes me pissed off every time I hear it.
That's
because I'm thinking they should have given them damn records to somebody involved in that, you know, but they didn't.
They gave it to the label, so.
Yeah. And label should have given them to Tom. That's what they should have done.
Yeah, test pressings are technically property of the label, and what happens is in the pressing process is they press a couple of test presses. They usually don't do a lot, and a couple of people at the pressing plant go into a room, a booth, and they sit down with headphones on and they listen to them. And,
now I did actually. I have only owned one Kiss related test pressing. I actually found. I showed you because I freaked you out so bad that day. I sent you that picture. Look what I just found at the flea market. You remember that? Yeah. What did it look like? What did it look like? It looked like well, hold on.
Yeah,
I'll just get it. I'll just get it.
Because that was a long time ago. Pull it.
Better got it somewhere else. I better can't find it.
Sorry for the silence here, folks. Trying to go Grizzly Adams with a beard.
Man, I got it somewhere buried. I won't be able to find it.
Oh, you can't find it?
But so I'm going through the flea market, and I go, no, it's not. And it has got the exact markings of the first Kiss LP for a test pressing. And it turned out the time frame was right. And I gave $2 for it. It's Donna Summer.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I do want to mention about test pressings. Test pressings today, there's a whole lot less of them because there's a whole lot less pressing plants.
Yeah.
In the 70s, every record label had their own pressing capabilities, and then you had independent pressing. So when Kiss was pressing Alive 2 and it was being pressed in 5 different plants, or how many ever different plants it was, there was a test pressings for each of those plants.
Yeah.
So, that's not the case.
But correct me if I'm wrong here. Okay, so the test pressing for Alive 2, that wasn't to check sound quality or anything else. It was literally the pressing process, correct? To make sure there was because they're not going to do a test pressing every time they change a damn plate.
No, they don't.
They're just not going to do it.
They do it the first time, and they do listen to them to make sure.
Yeah, and I get that, because again, they're not testing the plate, they're testing the end process. Right. I mean, the plate has already been tested somewhere. Right. Got to assume that's right. What they're testing for essentially is, did the mechanical process work? In other words, did it not leave a big hump somewhere or something like that?
Well,
I mean, otherwise, why would you test press them? Seriously, you're not going to test every plate because you've already manufactured them, you've already tested them before they got there. And you're not like say they get to, I don't know how many would they press off a plate now?
I don't know. Probably
whatever that number is.
Probably 2,000.
Okay,
2 to 3,000.
So that's all.
No,
see that?
No. See, it's a different time now. So they would probably.
Well, we're talking about then. We're talking about.
Yeah, they would press.
Tens of
thousands, if not hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. So let's say you get to let's say you're going to press, let's say you're going to press 56,000 with a plate before, you were going to change it just because you're going to change it. Well, when number 56,000 gets there, they stop the process, they change the plates, start the machine up. They're not going to do a test pressing again on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because they would stop the assembly line. But anyway.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
There's not a ton of them. There ain't a ton of them ever.
Yeah. Usually it's just those test pressings are at the very beginning of the process to make sure that there are no errors on the, on the record at all. Like the guy that checked the test pressing of the Love Gun, the original Love Gun 2014 reissue, should have caught that the beginning of Then She Kissed Me was cut off. And they should have never went to press with that. They should have said, there's an error. You got to go back and figure out where the error is, fix it, then we'll make a new plate.
Yeah.
And then we'll test it and make sure that it's correct again. So that being said, there's a test pressing for 2014 Love Gun with the error and a test pressing without.
Be nice to have that.
Be nice to have that, yeah.
All right, next question's for you.
Oh, so Andrew Skimbatti, asshole of the moment asks me, Jason, I know you have one turntable, but do you plan to add another turntable and maybe a microphone? So that's Andrew's comedic sensibilities and the take on. I think it's Beck's 2 turntables and a microphone.
Yeah, the guy that Bender used to tour with.
In fact, Andrew, I do have 2 turntables and I have about 15 microphones. I forgot this question was in here, or I would have gotten out my other turntable and showed you that I do, in fact, have 2 turntables and a microphone. Thanks, Andrew.
All right, this next question, I got to grab some singles. Hang on.
All right. We should have been more prepared for this.
Okay.
All right.
Did you read it already?
I didn't. I wanted to wait for you to get
All right.
back.
Jeff, help me out, man. Fine stock. I'm sorry, man. I apologize to everybody for
I'd
that.
say Fane stock.
Okay, that sounds good. Fane
Sorry,
stock.
Jeff.
That's all right. Sorry, Jeff. Is there a U.S. promo version of Beth with the MBX 863 catalog number with Beth on both sides? So he's asking about. There's 3 different promos for that single, and of course I got them out of order. Damn it! Are you kidding me? I didn't grab my promos. Are you kidding me? Back in a second.
Oh my goodness. Professionalism at its finest, folks.
Hit them in another cubby hole. I can't believe I found them. Okay, so MBX 863. There's MB863. MBX 863. No, there is not one with Beth on both sides. The reason why it's even got that X on it. So the original promo was Detroit Rock City Beth, and that number is MB863, even though it's a promo. Okay, so I probably can't see that, but that's that. So when they when they re-released it with Beth on the A side, they added the X to the code number. So now Beth is on the A side, and Detroit Rock City is on the B side. Okay, so that's where the X came from. There is a the third one is Beth on both sides. It's a mono stereo, but the code number for it is Beth1 DJ. All right, so what else was there? Or does it only exist with B? Yes, it does only exist with Detroit Rock City. It's the B side with that code number. So hope that helps.
There you go.
All right.
Tim Purvis, who's Mr. Question Man apparently. How long have you driven a package around in a car before you've been able to sneak it in the house? And when was the last time you headed to the post office or headed off the post office at the pass and did the finger to the lips with the shush gesture?
Now, you got to get your terminology right. Tim's English, right?
Yeah, yes, correct. He's British.
When did you headed the postie off?
Yeah.
Postie is what you should refer to your wife as.
Right.
Your wife is the postie.
Yeah, yes.
There you go. There we go. Yeah.
So
I'm very fortunate. I don't have to do that. I'm fortunate. Now I have had to in the past. Luckily, Tom is the main wage earner in the house.
Right.
I don't have to explain it.
Yeah, I've had to. I don't drive around or anything like that, but I've often hoped that. I mean, my wife is mail carrier, but she's not a full-time mail carrier. She's the substitute mail carrier around here, so she doesn't carry 6 days a week or 5 days a week or anything like that. She's 1 or 2 days a week. So I've often hoped that packages would show up when she wasn't here for any particular reason, so I could just bring them in the house and put them in my collection and never mention them. But
yeah, the only thing I can tell you similar to that is I asked my wife to watch one of these podcasts one time, specifically to evaluate somebody that was a guest on there for a reason that will become pretty evident soon, if not already. Anyway, and yes, there was some mentioning by me of some money I've spent. So, yeah, I wasn't really happy when that came up on the screen. So, it's just, it's like, well, what do you want? Okay. All right. Tim Purvis again. Which countries escaped the phonogram homogenization? I don't think any of them escaped it. That is why we're not having entire episodes with just an LP now, because he's correct. That's a good good analogy. They homogenized the releases, that so that everything was pretty much strictly the same. All right.
Yep.
Next.
Danny Cordell asks, have either of you ever spent a lot more for an album than what your better half thinks you have?
I am very positive that answer is yes. Yeah, I'm positive that answer is yes.
I guarantee you that answer on my side is very much yes. So,
but again,
and that's all we're going to say.
Again, Tom's in charge of the budget. So, all right, Brian King. I own a Kiss debut Filmworks 1 pressing, which has side 2 pressed on both sides. Not the center ring label, but the actual wax. Are there many production errors out there? Is this crazy rare? I think I need some clarification on that, because I don't know, Brian. Brian, are you from the U.S. or where are you from? Somebody had an LP on the page yesterday, I think, and I swear I think this is the LP, and it turned out that it was from Holland. Or maybe it played a side of a live. I don't know. But the stuff does happen.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how you know until somebody shows you or tells you, and the crazy thing about that stuff is I'm sure that there's some people that is really, really desired by them, and they would probably value them. But I couldn't begin to tell you, that that's the case all the time.
Yeah. And to just touch on that more, when you're just thinking about the pressing process, that happens when plates are mixed up.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And if you slide a plate and you're running 300 records, through the press, they're not just going to stamp one and go, "Oh, that's wrong." They wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So they're getting. There's probably many of them.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And where are they now? Me, I think that's cool as hell. I mean, I do. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I mean, I don't know that obviously I'm not buying anything right now, but I don't know that I would pay a lot of money for something like that. But I might give you a bunch of trade for something like that, just because it's unique and all that. So they're very cool to have. Very cool to have. It's so yeah. Good for you, Brian. Good for you.
Yep.
All right. Got our buddy Denny from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, one topic you guys should talk about in more details on the next podcast, if possible, is the possibility of a 79 to 82 pressings. Only a suggestion. Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay. There are some that I'm confident they can be identified as being pressed from 79 to 82. The way you would tell them is it would be a Filmworks label. We would consider it a Filmworks 1, but it's going to have a printing press number on the label, that 53 or 72 or whatever. The ones I've seen have all been 53. That doesn't mean that's the way they all are. Now, the question becomes, is that a series? And I can't say. And I don't think we're going to get to a conclusion on it before the book comes out. There definitely are some. I think I've seen, and again, I'm going to be wrong. Somebody correct me because I know some of you guys have shown these. I think I've seen an Alive like that.
Right.
I think I've seen an Alive 2, and I think I've seen a Love Gun. But that doesn't make it a pressing series, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
just means that they were out of those records at the particular time.
Yeah.
And needed more.
Yes. And, that's why we were being very cautious as we started to document these, 83, 84 pressings that we're going to start calling a FilmWorks 2, because we weren't sure it was a series, but once we saw a Peter Criss, I hate to say this, but once we saw a Peter Criss, we knew it was a series.
Absolutely.
We knew to search it out. The only thing that we haven't found on that was pressed before that time is the Elder. Just haven't seen one of those that fits the criteria, and it does have to have criteria. Otherwise, it's not a pressing series, And so basically a U.S. pressing of the Elder with a FilmWorks label instead of the hand would be that 83, 84 pressing. But yes, he is right. Denny and I have talked about this. I've discussed this with Tom Daniels. I think Mike Stone also. We think there is.
Yeah.
But we don't know. So everybody's looking for it.
Yeah.
Good question.
Good question, Denny. All right. Are we to the last one?
Yeah.
All right. Chris. I don't know how to say Chris's last name. You got a guess on it? Chavilla? Chavilla? Chris? Sorry, Chris. I know we've talked a lot lately. Sorry, butcher your last name. Chris asks, when looking at vinyl, what qualities should we look for, such as cover shape, vinyl shape, etc.? That's number one. Number two, what ways can LPs be stored and cataloged? And number three, what are your top 5 that you should be in any collection? So, number one, when looking at vinyls, what qualities should we look for, such as cover shape, vinyl shape, etc.? Well, I'd probably answer it depends on what country you're, particularly buying from.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
your LeMahieu de Kiss.
Yeah, it may be easier to say, and of course it's always subjective, as to when is it a certain way, but like there's some records I'm not going to buy them if they're not in excellent condition.
Right.
And I do still, when I'm buying, I do still buy stuff, catalog stuff that I have. It's trading material.
Right.
So I'm not gonna buy, here, I'll give you a good example, because we're gonna show these in a little bit. Like this Hotter Than Hell with this piece tore out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not gonna go out and buy that. I got it because of something else. And actually, we're gonna discuss why I've got that in 2 pieces.
Right.
And that's why I did it in 2 pieces, because I'm not going to ever trade that to somebody.
Right.
I got my reputation on the line. I don't want to trade something like that to somebody. You should just always know that you should buy the best condition that you can.
Sure.
And some people won't buy anything less than near mint, and that's great if that's what they want to do. I wouldn't have 3/4 of my records if that's all I bought.
Right.
And so everybody's got different reasons for wanting to have stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
what ways can LPs be stored and cataloged?
Well, they should always be upright. Let's just say that they should not be on their backs. That will create ring wear and stuff and distortion. I like this way, but it does take a lot of room. That's record store style.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you don't have much choice but put them on a shelf, which I've got something like that.
I have crates. I keep mine in crates. They're too heavy. They have 130 records in them. I can't lift them up, especially with my bad elbow. But they are.
Well, do you know how much a crate of 130 records weighs? Because that's a good question. About 130 pounds. About 130 pounds.
It depends.
What's less than a pound each for a record?
Well, I didn't say less. There could be more.
Oh, it could be more. Yeah.
If the pressing weight is more, but at least 130 pounds.
Yeah. And you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
when you're deciding on shelving,
Right.
I'm not going to flip this around because I don't want you to see all my junk in here.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got 2 shelves, that I can store records on, and they're like 6 feet wide, and they ain't bowing. All right, and they ain't bowing because Tom reinforced the shit out of that.
I worry about some. I've seen some guys post some of their shelving before. There was one particular guy that posted his shelving that had a lot of.
I've seen some bad, dangerous looking stuff, and I've commented to the people before. Hey, what you need to be careful what you're doing there.
Yeah.
I'm in building facilities management and stuff, but I don't have this specific stuff. I can tell you that if you've got a shelving unit that is strong enough to support the records and not bow, okay, so it's not bowing, and if it sits flat on the floor,
right,
okay, you're fine. If you have that same shelf and it's sitting on 6 feet, some kind of feet coming off the bottom of it, instead of transferring that weight all across that bottom shelf, it's going into these 6 feet. And if you've got a wooden floor that you're on, not a concrete basement floor, you're gonna have problems.
Yep.
At some point in time, because all that weight is in a tiny little spot. Every bit of that weight transfers into there.
That's right.
So just be sure that you've got it, that you've got it supported well enough. If you got little kids in your house, and actually, even if you don't, make sure that you attach your shelves to the wall somehow.
Yeah, because they can pull the thing right over on them.
Yeah, they pull it over, you get a little 5-point whatever earthquake, and now instead of it just sitting there rocking a few records off, it crushed your dog. It doesn't
That's
work.
Right. And he asked about cataloging. So
yeah,
you catalog
I catalog mine, but I mean that's because I'm doing a book. I guess I'd be doing it anyway. As far as how are they in my shelf, I do them by the release, chronologically by the release. As you go into my tabs, it'll start with the earliest U.S. release, and it'll go chronologically with all the U.S. Then I start alphabetically by country behind that. So, Australia is always the first one in behind. And I'll do that by country. And then at the back end of it, I'll have any of my extra inserts or whatever, extra booklets or whatever. And I've got my promo singles, promo 12-inch singles or promo EPs at the back end of that. But I think I'm going to change that out because I ran into a problem. Where the hell do I put this Creatures of the Night 12-inch single from that cruise?
Right.
Because if anything, it's under Vegas.
Right.
And it just, I decided at that point, it's somebody mentioned, well, maybe you just need a 12-inch single section, and I think they're right. So,
I think they're right too. I mean, there's a 12-inch single book, so why wouldn't there be a 12-inch single section?
Sure. Makes
Sure.
sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Like I said, I put mine in crates. I have these crates made by this Colorado record crate company. Mm-hmm. They're no longer in existence. They made really nice stuff. I've got a 7-inch one. I was thinking I might pick that up, but anyway, it's real nice, and they hold, like I said, about 120 to 140 records, something like that, depending on gatefolds and all that. And I've got my dividers that you made in there, and mine are just cataloged by release chronologically. I don't fool with anything beyond that. I don't have as many releases as you, so I'm not going to Australia, Belgium, whatever be the case. So anyway. And
Sounds good.
Tom also has you put little tags on the front of yours, right?
Yeah. I mean, I put I may have one right here. Yeah. Got these labels that I put on them. Yeah. And the reason why I put those on there is so I'm in these all the time, and I don't want to have to. And I store my my LPs outside of the jacket. And again, that's strictly so I don't have to be taking this apart all the time if I'm looking to identify something. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why I've got these tags, just so I
Right.
can tell. Now I've gotten tags, and everybody's got their own way, man. I got a tag from a guy, and I couldn't read it, man. There was so much stuff on it. I mean, I'm like, whoa, I can't even read it.
Right.
So, but it's whatever you want on it,
Sure.
like, and again, I just, when somebody asks a question, I just throw my 2 cents in. Some guys were laying out some labels, and they were putting the Kiss logo on the thing and then running out of room. And I'm like, well, what do you need the Kiss logo on there for? You're
Right.
looking at a Kiss record. I mean, seriously, you're not looking at it at the label without the record there.
Yeah,
So
they're just fancying up their labels, and that's fine.
yeah, and they look cool. They look cool.
Great. Yeah,
They do. They do.
It'll use a lot more ink, but they look great. So,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
And then the last part of Chris's question was one of the top 5 that should be in any collection. Well, I think we've addressed that many times, and in fact, the first.
I don't know that we have.
Really?
Because I'm reading this. What are your top 5 that should be in any collection?
Okay.
And so I read that as what 5 records should be in every collection.
Okay, let's address that then. Okay, because I was going to skip it and say, go back and look at.
Yeah, no. So I'm actually, I've been trying to think this over. All right, okay. So I'm up to 3 of them. So I'm first record, live 2. Where we go from there? Maybe a live 3 and double platinum. That's what I would say. If you're going to have 5 records, if 5 records that should be in every collection, I would say those 5.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't disagree with that. I think that's a good list. But let's say instead of saying, okay, let's say the top 5 that should be in any serious record collectors, Kiss collectors collection outside of regular releases.
Okay.
All right. What do you think?
No, you have at it. You're the one who came up with it.
I would say probably the. God, it's hard to say because I'd say you got to include at least one of those promo only releases. Which one do you include? The summer tour record, the. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would say probably. I would say the originals. Are we calling that a regular record?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, so outside of the originals, or
no? You just say some stuff, man.
So outside of the regular catalog, the regular discography that you see all the time, I'd say the originals 2, promo copy of the first album, summer tour promo, and first Kiss, last Licks.
That's good. That's good. Hey, man, you improved because I remembered as you were sitting there struggling with that, when you did your top 10, there was like 55 records in that top 10. So.
It was hard, man. It was hard. I mean, how do you say when you're listing your top 10 records, how do you say the Peter Criss Japanese solo picture disc? How do you just say that?
You just say it, man.
You got to say all 4 of them.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Anyway,
all right.
That'll be an interesting question to get some feedback from.
Yeah.
What do you think the top 5 essential records in any Kiss collector's collection should be?
Yeah, because that's different than your top 5.
Right.
Okay. The essential 5 and top 5 is 2 different things. All
that's right.
Put an edit in here before we start. We got a half hour here.
Okay.
Put it, or about 35 minutes. But put it. I got to hit the bathroom.
I do too. All right. Not done. Just saying. got done early? Huh? Well, that's good. Well, 2 bottles of water went through me quick.
All right, man.
Okay.
All right.
So,
So we ready?
Yep, ready?
Yeah.
All right.
We're back.
All right, so that's it for the questions. We appreciate everybody sending all those in. That was kind of fun to go through and make a couple of different episodes that we normally do. So appreciate everybody's participation. Hope we answered everybody's questions.
Yep.
So next up, Tom, we will talk.
All right. So we had some very interesting posts in the last week at Kiss My Wax. We're all about Kiss vinyl there, and part of what we do, or part of our mission, as we look at it, is first of all as a form to share information amongst everybody.
Right.
We've got thousands of members, and it's great to get different viewpoints and ideas in. And obviously, I've had my knowledge base expanded tremendously by dealing with people on that page. So many of my records have come from other members on there, and stuff that I didn't know about or whatever. But another thing that is a driving thing behind our page, beyond the fact that Jason got thrown off the other page that we were on for showing an 8-track, and we didn't want that to happen. But the other point too is that we are very much anti-counterfeit on our page.
Right.
We were like that before this page was formed.
Right.
And the reason for that is, as we've mentioned on the last episode, I don't remember the numbers now, but like out of the top 10 high-selling Kiss records of all time, like 8 of them are counterfeits. Okay, that's disgusting. It's disgusting. Yeah. And people got taken on them. People still get taken on stuff. So part of what we have to do with this stuff is to evaluate as new claims come up. I can't remember if I put it on that page or if I mentioned it on this, but I probably get hit up once a week with a fraud record. Okay.
I do too.
I mean, people will ask me about one that they think is a fraud, or they will present it to me and it's a fraud. Okay. I mean, I've had stuff asked of me that makes 0 sense how it would occur. All right. I can't give you an example right now, but anyway, it happens. And so, not a lot of what we do, but if people present some new find, we're going to look at it with an eye of skepticism, and at the same time with some hope that maybe somebody has found something that hasn't been seen.
Right.
And so what this all popped up about was a record that our friend Marco purchased from another friend of ours, Axel Reuter, in Germany, and it appeared to be a U.S. Alive 2 non-gatefold. Okay, and nobody's ever seen one before this thing popped up. I trust both those guys implicitly.
Yep.
I trust them completely. And we all owe Marco a debt of gratitude, because he did something that most people would never do. He manipulated that I don't want to say manipulated it. He disassembled
yeah.
that LP cover to show if it was or was not a faked record. Okay, because as we got to looking at it, first of all, nobody's ever seen one. All right, there is the Alive Record Club edition. That's a non-gatefold. That's well known. It's documented. It says right up in the corner, BMG Record Club. There's no disputing it is what it is. So that jacket gets presented, and of course, a lot of questions, Marco is showing various parts and pieces of it. And one of the things that he showed very early in it was up at the very top of the front cover, you could see a bit of a lighting truss and fireworks.
Right.
That would be from the inside gatefold. Okay. So I go through mine to see, number one, okay, how's that going to happen? How can that happen in the first place? Let's forget about it being a non-gatefold. How could that happen with a gatefold? And so I go through and I pull mine, and the vast majority of mine, let's talk about the way jackets are assembled. So this is not a KISS one, but I destroyed this one today. So here's a gatefold, okay, and this is two distinct pieces. All right, we got the front and back cover, and we got the inner gatefold. All right, and what happens is this gets glued to this. It gets glued up in these spots. I'm gonna have a tough time pulling them up. There are tabs like this on the top and the bottom. Okay, they are part of the front cover. All right, front and back cover, and they're stamped out all in one piece and then machine folded. Then this piece is in turn glued into here. Okay, so that's a two-piece gatefold, and then it's folded. All right. Then there's also, I had disassembled this one a long time ago. This is my jacket from 83, 84 dress double platinum. Okay, because I disassembled it because I wanted to see if I could find some information inside of it to tell me when this thing was made. So it is a one-piece construction. Everybody sees that, right?
Yep.
It's got the same things on the inside, and actually this is pretty interesting. You see the glue? This is actually the glue.
Yep.
That's in here. Okay. You find it sometimes with KISS records, but then you find it with others as well. I've got a Styx record here to show people this. So here is an unglued glue strip from the Grand Illusion. Okay. So that's how all records have been put together, KISS records especially, after the first LP. This is called a flip back record.
Right.
This is actually a big sticker on the back cover. All right. And it is, I'm trying to find where the seam is on this. Yeah, this has got a seam at the bottom of it, and then this sticker is placed over the back of it. But they quit making them like that right after this record came out. So the question becomes, and I want to show one more too, the Hotter Than Hell that I tore apart. Okay, so this is actually important, and it comes into play with Marco's one, and why I went the direction I went as I was trying to figure this out. The glue tabs are on the front cover.
Gotcha.
Okay, so they're rolled in, and you're going to find this is typically the way this is. I haven't seen another one where they're on the back cover. Okay, so the cover is glued down, the back cover is glued down. So if you look, and this is what got me thinking about Marco's, because as he's looking right along this top edge, he's seeing fireworks. Okay, the extra piece you should see it from the back, not the front. All right, so that's the way they're all typically put together. So then the question becomes, and as we're dealing with this, I suddenly remembered, and I can't remember if I've got the picture around. I asked a couple of people, did I mention to you about a double platinum USA double platinum shiny cover that I saw at another vinyl page for just a few minutes one day? And the guy said, yeah, you did. So somewhere is floating a KISS shiny jacket double platinum that is also a non-gatefold. It's fake too. I'm positive, because that's what got me thinking, how did they go about doing this? And so So I look at my Alive 2s, and I go through, and all my Alive 2s are like this. Okay, the inside gatefold is separate from the jacket, except for one of them. One of them I've got, it's all one piece. Okay, like my double platinum. So now I'm looking at that because I'm trying to figure out how would the fireworks and the truss get on the front cover printing if they printed this that had the fireworks and truss and they printed this that didn't. Okay. Well, the one piece was all one piece. All right. So that's how you would get that on there. So that's when I posted, and Jason, I'll send you the pictures on this so you can put these on here as well.
Okay.
So that's when I'm sitting there going, okay, well, here's what I think. I think what they did was, or what could have happened. What could have happened is they could have taken this one piece, and then they would have, let's see, so it would have been like this, and I said it would have at the bottom of it a white glue sheet. Okay, just like this one is on double platinum. You notice there's nothing shiny there, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's a reason. That shit won't stick to it.
Right.
And plus they're not going to buy. They printed millions of these. Do you know how much extra material they would have wasted by doing that?
A ton.
Yeah. It's like putting flooring underneath your dishwasher at home. Who the hell's going to see it? Why would you spend the money?
Right.
So you've got a tab already. All right. So that means you need a tab up here. So what you would do at that point is you would cut off this side of the inner gatefold, just cut it completely away. Then you'd go over here and you'd cut the tab that matches this one. Okay, it's already got a bend in it.
Yep.
Bend it down, and then you would take the back cover and slide it around and glue it on there.
Right.
Okay. And then that would account for this bit of truss and fireworks showing up here. All right. And I said, Marco, the only way and I said it on the page, the only way we're going to know is if you take that jacket apart at the seams. I said, you're going to find white at the bottom of this thing, no matter what. I said, if that thing has been faked, you're going to see fireworks up here at the top. If it's not been faked, it's going to be white. Okay. Well, I ended up being wrong on one part of it, because what they had done, instead of cutting the tab here and using this tab, they cut this tab away. They cut this section out. They put the tab here. They used this tab. And then when they glued it, that suddenly made the front the part that you would see the seam. And that's why it was there. And so it was fake. All right. So we had one person jump in very early in the conversation that said, well, that's a record club edition from the US. I have one.
Yep.
You know? And well, actually, when he said first, he just said it's a record club release in the U.S. He said some more stuff, and I think I can't remember what I said, but then he goes, "Well, I have one." Okay, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, that's an important thing to mention right off the bat. So, all right, so bottom line, Marco takes it apart. There's no white trim. Somebody's made it at home. All right, end of discussion. They made it at home. And that tells me they made this at home. Now, here's where it starts to get interesting. This is the part, this is why we're so, we take such a methodical approach to this stuff, okay? I trust Marco and I trust Axel completely. I think somebody duped them. Yeah. I think somebody duped and planted this thing. And here's why I say that. All right, number one, it turns out this thing, not only has it got all this stuff, it's got a cut corner on it. Why has it got a cut corner? I don't get that. I mean, I guess it just happened to be the jacket that they had.
That's what
but then so right away, once they say it's got a cut corner, well, that ain't no record edition. That's right. No record club edition. Okay, end of story. But then where it got really goofy is on the inside, there was Spanish writing, a Spanish stamp or something.
Right.
Ended up being some town over in Spain or something like that. And the guy that was claiming that he had one, he's from Puerto Rico. So, all right. So really? So there's only been 2 of these ever seen. One of them's in Spain and one's in Puerto Rico, but they're supposed to be U.S. Okay. The bottom line is it was fake. It was made. It was fake. So how in the hell does the guy have one? Unless he made it, which I'm not saying he did. But I'm going to tell you what I think happened. If you are an industrious, this is like a forgery, basically, is what they've done.
Right.
I realize it's not, but you got to look at historical forgers for the most part. Okay, like if I decide to be unethical like that, okay, and I go, oh man, I can make this, and people aren't going to be able to tell the difference. But if I present it and go, hey, look what I found. I found this at the store. Okay, I'm going to start getting questions that, maybe I don't want to answer those questions. Okay, so if I've got 15 of these that I've made, and if I think, okay, let's speculate, Jason. If that had turned out to be legit, nobody's ever seen one, but it turns out to be legit, what kind of value would you put on that?
Oh heck, I don't know, man. Pretty high.
$400 or $500?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of the work I did, and not only did I do the one, but I've gone and I've found every damn, because out of my copies, I've only got one that's a one-piece gatefold for a live tube.
Mm-hmm.
That's not common. Okay, not rare. I'm not going to say it's worth anything, but it's not common. So I've gone out and I've been collecting these for 2 years or whatever. I've also done a double platinum, and I posted it over at Junkies and left it up there for 10 minutes and removed it. Why did I do that? Why? I wish I could tell you who did it. I wish I could, because I don't think I did a screen cap, but I know damn good and well what I saw. I know what I saw. Why would I do that? Okay, I had some reason for doing that.
To generate interest.
Yeah. So now I'm sitting on 15 of these that I've made, and I'm ready to go. But shit, I need somebody to get the word out about it. How about I make some silly trade at some point, not even mention it to somebody in a big bulk trade, and it ends up in somebody's, in a seller's collection,
mm-hmm.
and then they offer it up to somebody. That damn thing was planted. I'm 100% convinced it was planted, and it was fake so bad that they went to so much trouble to put that stamp on the inside of it. So the bottom line is, it wasn't real. It wasn't real. And I think everybody involved in that discussion did the entire collecting world of Kiss LPs a favor.
Yep, I agree.
Number one, anybody else decides they're going to do something fake like that, they're going to think twice about it. They're going to have to think twice about it, because people are going to look at it and evaluate it. So, bottom line, my impression was that was a good thing for everybody. It's a good thing for everybody. Only got 15 minutes here, so I'm going to jump on to the next part of this.
All right.
I think as a lot of people here, anybody that's on the page knows, I was one of the founding members of this page, and I think it's this past weekend, I stepped away from being an admin on the page. And the reason why I did was because we had someone that was involved in that discussion about this LP, which is what really blows my mind. And this person there's been a couple of people on that page throughout the time we've had it that for whatever reason they've really disliked the concept of being skeptical about new finds.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. We're 40 years out, people. I'm not saying that some find can't be made, that there isn't stuff out there that we haven't seen, but you know what? It's pretty slim chance of it. Just like that ended up being. just like the Vinny creatures ended up being, just like all these picture sleeve 45s from Mexico are proven to be fake. You know, the hurdles to entry into making fake crap is so low now. You know, anybody can do it at home on Photoshop. You really, the only thing then is finding era kind of specific materials to print it on. And if you're really going to do it right, to find a screen printing process to do it. You know, nobody's going to bother doing carbon dating on this stuff like they had to do to find the forged Mormon letters back in the day, back in like 2000 or the 90s. People need to look at that stuff. There aren't just, trust me, there's crooks out there that are trying to take every one of us. Okay, they're trying to create something out of nothing. So we have to take our time about this stuff. You know, I'm being irresponsible if I just jump up and go, whoa, that's, oh my God, a live tube, non-gay. I never once said that I thought it was fake. Just, we need to take our time here.
Right.
Well, this other gentleman. So a few days later, there appears that there is an previously unknown U.S. pressing of the Elder. Okay. Doesn't have Escape from the Island on the vinyl. Doesn't have it on the label. All right. So there was a conversation going on. Had been going on, and the gentleman that doesn't like my being skeptical about stuff was pretty much running the whole thing, and quite frankly, looked like they were doing a good job with it to me. You know, it looks like this thing is legit. Now again, the person that posted it, he's new to our group. Yeah, I wonder about that sometimes, somebody that's new, but that doesn't mean they can't have some unknown pressing. But you know, just work your way through it. It looks like you're doing a good job. You know, there's no point in me injecting myself in there. And apparently, since I didn't inject myself, the guy started another post about it and mentioned on there, he's surprised that there's no interest in this, you know, and so that's when I came in and you know, I can't even remember what I said then, but again, they're working through it. And so they got to the point that, you know, it looks like it's probably legit. All right. There's pictures of the etchings that seem to match. It matches a test pressing that this guy is saying is a known test pressing. I'm just going to tell you, I hadn't heard of it, but I haven't heard of every test pressing in the world.
Right.
I don't know everything, you know. I mean, I try to stay on top of stuff, but so it's out of my area of expertise. And so they get to the point and the guy goes, oh, it's legit. And I said, well, you know, I think it still would be good if some people could see it in person.
Yeah.
You know, and then make judgment. Because I can tell you right now, I could take those pictures of the test pressing that he's had. I can make every one of those etchings again.
Yep.
No problem. No problem. On Photoshop, no problem. Hell, I can create a picture of you riding a unicorn if I want to, you know. And maybe that's where my leeriness comes from on stuff. But anyway, so this guy decides to do a victory dance on me.
Yep.
He puts in the post that I can't even remember word for word, but basically stated that it was going to be even better besides finding that record to disprove the skeptics.
Yep, that's what he said.
Really, that's more important. Disprove, and he's talking about me. Yep. You know, let's be honest. He's talking about me.
Talking about you because he made a meme with a unicorn in it.
Exactly, and you know what? That was it, man. I blew my stack. I did. I blew my stack. You know, and here's the thing of it. I blew my stack personally. You know, I got a job that I've got in the course of a year, tens of thousands of people that depend on me for their safety. And I mean literally their lives. And, you know, that could probably be stress inducing to some people. I sleep well at night because, you know, I do what I'm supposed to do to take care of these people. You know, I've got a lot of stuff goes on in my life, and I do this because I enjoy it, because it relieves me from stress. And the last thing I need or want, let's say want, is somebody to cause me a bunch of personal turmoil just because they want to get a rise or something. So,
Right.
my philosophy has always been for that kind of stuff. I ran into that with a few people over, and I'll just say it because it's over at Kiss Fac. Okay. There, I came to the conclusion that rather than having people start arguments with me, because I'm not really looking to argue with people. We're sharing facts here. We're sharing stuff. We can all have opinions, but like you'll never see me start an argument with somebody over a point. It either is or it isn't to me. And I started to really disenjoy Kiss Fac, and then I realized I could just put people on ignore, and I don't have to see that crazy crap anymore. You know, and I enjoyed it better. And I enjoyed my experience, and life school. Well, the issue with being an admin on this page is I can block somebody. I can personally block somebody. And my philosophy has been I don't want to ban people from the page. Okay. Just because I'm not enjoying what you're saying because you're picking at me or whatever, I don't necessarily want to pull your knowledge away from everybody else. Everybody else should be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, the initial philosophy of the page was to not ban people unless they just really went on some kind of personal tirade against someone.
Exactly. And then of course now I've got to deal with the fact that I'm allowing people to say crap to me and stay on the page that there ain't a chance I would allow them to say it to somebody else on the page. They'd be banned immediately.
Right.
So I would just block them personally, and so that way they can't PM me, and I don't see their posts at other pages. But you know what? I see everything that they write and post at Kiss My Wax.
Yeah.
And
because you're an admin, you can't.
Yes, because I'm an admin, and I just got tired of it.
Yep.
So that is why I stepped down as an admin. Okay. I'm not letting somebody beat me into submission. I'm not letting somebody win. It's nothing like that. I am a big believer in, there's a whole lot of stuff gets said that wouldn't be said to your face. And that's not a,
sure.
ooh, I'm a big guy and I'll beat you up. That's a, like, you just wouldn't talk to me like that.
Right.
And if you did, the conversation would end pretty quickly. And, I'm not going to hit you or nothing, but you're not going to enjoy what I got to say to you.
Right.
But yet people will sit there and type that crap all day. And I just don't want any part of it. I don't want any part of it.
I agree.
And so that's why I stepped away from the thing. Still at the page, still planning on being at the page. Nothing going to change like that. I don't know that I'd ever want to go back to being a moderator because, again, there are some other people that I have blocked on the page personally that I've had to look at their stuff, and I don't have to look at it anymore,
Yeah,
and basically, if you raise up my blood pressure, I don't want to see it.
Right.
I don't want to see that. I mean, why would I want to see that?
And if I can, interject something into the end of this story that's more towards our members and not you, because I know how I look at this. I look at this as just a technical thing. You step down as an admin because of a technical issue, because you don't want to see their posts anymore, and as having that title technically in the page, you have to see it. To all the people that are a member of this group and that are a member of Kiss My Kollectibles, where Tom was also an admin as well and a founding member of the page, I started these groups and started them with Tom in mind to be basically my right-hand man, along with maybe one other person or two. But as far as I'm concerned, Tom is he's included in all official decisions of the page, the direction of the page, anything that we talk about that we would discuss on the back end as admins or founders of the page. Tom is still a part of that. He's just technically not an admin. He can't push the buttons. But if we have to discuss something, a decision that has to be made on the page, it's not made without Tom's input. So technically, to me, he's still an admin. He's just not.
Yeah, I just don't have to look at the crap
It
I
just
don't want to
doesn't.
look at.
Right. It just does, it won't show that in the page, in the group when you look at the admins. But Tom Shannon still very much has just as much control of the group as I do, as Pablo does, as Tim Purvis does. So just so you know.
And Tom Daniels now.
And Tom Daniels. I forgot Tom just came on. So, Tom Daniels. So I just wanted to make that abundantly clear that that's the situation as it stands. So we technically have 5 people whose input on the back end, matter. So, anyway.
And on that cheery note.
On that cheery note.
I think that's it. I
think we covered it. So thanks again to the people that submitted questions. That was fun.
Yep.
Took two full episodes. Not sure what we got coming up next, but we definitely have a couple of cool things planned. We'll see how they play out in the next couple of weeks. But that's it, and we'll see you on the next one, right?
Yep. Sounds good. Later.
Want more wax? Visit us at www.kissmywax.net, download the show on iTunes, or email us at contact@kissmywax.net.